Says, I have this theory that generally speaking, men tend to think they're about 20 years younger than they are at all times. And Greg Cody, athletically, pretty routinely believes himself to be 30 years old, even though he's in his 70s, thinking he can make 50-yard field goals. How many penalty kicks do you think Greg Cody could make against a not a world-class goalie, but a legitimate goalie?
It's funny how you say this, because while we were watching Colombia and Switzerland PKs the other day, I turned to my son, who is a soccer player. I said, do you think you could score this right now against that goalie? He said yes. But how many do I think that Cody can score? I think he'd have a hard time scoring any.
I think it's a lot harder than people think. They think it's easy because it's professional soccer players and they make about half. But I think that goal starts to look real small when the goalie spreads his arms.
For reference, Messi's at 50%
in
the World Cup for his career.
Yeah, I think he'd have a hard time scoring any.
Chris, what do you think? Text your father and ask him, because we should do this. The last time we did this, we did it in the rain many years ago, but Greg Cody didn't participate. It was an assortment of others. I believe I should make a bet with stakes with Cody, and I'm not brave enough to make the over-under half a goal, but that would insult him the most. And he's really been insulted because Carl told Greg Cody, he said to him, we're thinking about using the Pat Riley cutout as the goalie, and we still don't think you're going to score. We think you're not going to be able to.
He did not like that idea.
He's aged a lot. I'm worried about a hairline fracture along the hip.
He's 70 years old.
How many shots are we giving him?
10.
Okay, 10. I mean, I think.
No, he's not putting one past a goalie. He's not.
Yeah,
I think he will. 10 shots. If it's not a world-class goalie, I think he gets one.
I just don't think he can get the pace behind it. If it's a legit soccer ball and he's legit taking it from the spot against a goalie that knows what they're doing.
The real soccer ball is kind of heavy. Like, I don't think he'd be able to kick it very hard.
He's just not going to be able to get enough behind. I've seen that guy's gait. That guy's gait has gotten rusty over the last few years.
Why does he have such a hard time accepting that he's not like a prime athlete anymore?
His narcissism shines forever. It does not age. It's forever young. It's not. I just sent some video to some friends. In fact, I'm going to send it to the video crew of David Lee Roth prowling around on stage. David Lee Roth used to be as the lead singer of Van Halen. I could have made an argument for a stretch from 1984 to 86. He was the biggest rock star in the world, and he's still prowling around on a stage at about Cody's age. How old would David Lee Roth be? He'd be about 71 right now.
He's got to be 70.
It's been sad watching those videos. And Rod Stewart, too. You want to talk about forever young?
Barry Manilow.
Yeah. He had a bad health issue. But, they want to leave something for the estate. That's what's happening right now.
David Lee's 71.
He's Greg Cody's age. Okay, I'm going to send him this video.
Have you ever seen the video where David Lee Roth shows up at a bachelor party?
So great.
And he's like, hey, I heard you guys playing like Panama or something. Well, and they're all confused. Like, who's this creepy old guy?
It was a Las Vegas hotel room. He shows up, and they're playing a Van Halen song. He hears it. He knocks on the door, and he holds out his hands like, ta-da, and they have no idea who he is.
And we'll have an eye on every goal, shouting magisterial, no need to back down. Just park the bus, stop the attack. Will the hand of God put your header back on track? Football is back, Jack. Mbappe's flying through the air. Ronaldo's here for one last prayer. Will Messi come out to play? Or is it victory for the USA? It's corner kicks when the box is packed. That's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. The time is here, open the gates. The long wait is over, so we'll yell, let's go States! No need to back down, just strike the ball, start the attack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
I did not think I was going to be starting the show with these words, but get the David Lee Roth video ready because Greg Cody is this man's age. This man, about 40 years ago, was the biggest rock star in the world. He could kick his leg up so high, it was amazing. It was way over his head.
That's a go-to move back then. If you're going to be like a big-time frontman, you got to be able to have that leg kick, right?
Yeah, but I feel like he invented it. And at the very least, he's the one I most associate with the giant leg kick in videos that I don't believe any of us can do.
I think Steven Tyler used to use that move too.
No.
The leg kick? No, you don't think so?
David Lee Roth, well, I don't want to talk about rock stars from 40 years ago too much. Just know that Greg Cody is this man's age.
Typically, we don't play music because of the commercial rights, but I'm not worried about getting pinged on this one because that's impossible to discern what that is.
It doesn't sound anything like whatever it was 40 years ago. So let's turn that down, please, for a second.
Is this
Why?
mic
It's not
on?
good? It's not good?
I urge you all to find on the internet the video, incredibly sad, of him walking down a Las Vegas hotel hallway, hearing a Van Halen song in one of the rooms, knocking on the door and expecting the bachelor party inside to be excited, and they all just looked at him. Who the hell are you? What are you doing here?
How would you describe that outfit, though, for our listening audience?
Black and red with flowers all over, and lean, body tight, sleeveless.
Yeah. Leather vest with stitched in roses, seemingly leather pants, giant belt buckle, rhinestones everywhere.
It looks like Chavo Guerrero's ring attire.
I want to get to what's happening with LeBron in a second because I felt the stale, faint whiffs of 2010. Planes being tracked yesterday, planes from Akron to West Palm, photographs being taken, grainy photographs being taken on a golf course. So he may or may not have been in Miami. Are we going to have exclusive investigation? We are now a Pulitzer Prize-winning media organization. You have pushed us, Mike, as happen to know guy, insider who has trafficked in the information business to become a Pulitzer Prize-winning media company. Do we have investigative information about LeBron that is going to be something the mainstream media wants?
That's right. Pay no attention to what Dan said. I'm totally giving the game away. But yes, we have tracked flights from Akron to West Palm. And yes, we have grainy photos that put us as the only show to confirm the whereabouts of LeBron James. Now, there was someone on the periphery of the NBA, someone that is in the know, someone that is followed on social media by Matt Sullivan. That's all I know. But I ripped this from an IG story.
Wait a minute. This is just a picture of a golf cart.
Yes,
I don't
but if
see
you
that it's LeBron.
Please allow my investigation to play out before you start rudely interrupting and letting the air out of it.
Let it happen.
Please. All right, so we know that LeBron was on a golf course because he put out a selfie video where he was doing the thing where he was, singing along to hip-hop and not a care in the world, graying his beard, having fun with the whole thing about his name.
In Akron, though, right?
No,
That ain't Akron.
look, the golf course that he was at, it was sunny, it looked nice, but he was very careful to not give us any context clues. But someone else spotted LeBron James, and we can tell from the outfit and the canopy on the golf cart that that is LeBron James. Now I want you to pay attention to this tree.
Yep.
That tree.
Mike, I can't tell that that's LeBron James.
You're going to have to freaking trust me on this, man. All right? LeBron was doing a selfie video from a golf course. We have tracked a plane, and by we, I mean panicky Cleveland Cavs fans have tracked a plane from Akron to West Palm.
Yep.
That happened yesterday.
I saw that.
Now, pay attention to this tree. If you're from South Florida, you may recognize this tree, the Royal Poinciana. Now, this is not a tree that grows in Tahoe. This is not a tree that grows anywhere else other than Florida and the Caribbean. All right? Now, for the third still, guess who has a Royal Poinciana across the street from his house?
Not Akron.
I do. Whoa. And it is also in bloom. As you can see, we have deduced
That's yours?
that's across the street from in my neighborhood.
That shit's blooming.
It's blooming up top. You see the same little red blossoms that are blooming up top that tree. Guys, do what you will with this information. But I'm like 75% sure LeBron James is in Florida.
75% sure. Right now on my television, on Get Up, Brian Windhorst, Vinny Goodwill, they're talking. It says LeBron James is yet to announce decision on next team. Shams is saying money, not the driving force behind James's decision. We are in the middle of what happens when there's no World Cup soccer for a day.
Oh, what a long 24 hours. Also, I can investigate. Shams put out just 3 teams at the top of his list. He also removed Denver, which I actually thought would have been a cool spot for LeBron to go to, but if he was going to stay in the Western Conference. But it was the Sixers, it was the Cavs, it was the Heat. And that's weird. No Golden State Warriors. And Shams has reported that Draymond and LeBron plan to hang out at some point this week.
So he's reporting play dates.
That's correct.
Didn't Steph Curry say something at the
No. I have an investigation. I don't care what Steph Curry said in front of a microphone in Tahoe. I can tell you that Steph Curry feels like it's a 50-50 shot that LeBron goes to the Golden State Warriors. So, why were they not included in the Shams report? You're getting really good stuff here. You are. You're getting world-class stuff.
Well informed.
It's definitely 50-50. Either he's going to go to Golden State or he's not. That's 50-50.
So I don't think the odds are 50-50 when you do it with all of the other teams involved. I don't think that that's how we do odds making. I also don't understand what we're doing with Steph says it's 50-50 and Mike says it's 75% sure that he's in Florida. I think you have to report that with 100% certainty in order to make it. If you want that to cross over and be something that gets people excited today in the news stream, you're going to have to report that with 100% accuracy.
I am 100% sure LeBron is either in Florida or the Caribbean. I am 75% sure that he is in Florida. Yep.
Well, so you have him closer to Florida. You have him closer to Miami than he is to Akron. Wasn't he in a nightclub in Akron like 2 days ago or 3 days ago?
Well, you know what's funny about 2 days ago? It's not yesterday. Yep. That's a thing about 48 hours ago. It's not 24 hours ago.
Well, let's talk about yesterday for a second because I'm a little worried, Zaslow, about the addiction Mike has that yesterday represented withdrawal for him because there were no World Cup games. Everyone breathed for a moment. But, and I'm dead serious when I say this, I couldn't help but sort of smile watching my television yesterday because it took an off day. But World Cup soccer fever absolutely has arrived in full force like I've been promised for 4 decades. And American soccer felt like the biggest thing yesterday because none of the news media had games to talk about. And so they attacked the United States soccer team full-throated all day because there was nothing else to attack. Jaylen Brown's a week ago. There's not anything going on. You have only soccer on the platform. And everyone turned on the United States soccer team as if it matters, as if it's a thing that matters, as if it's worthy of criticism. Here's Landon Donovan. Pulisic got all of it. And Landon Donovan, this is funny to watch, okay? Landon Donovan is the biggest name and face and voice still in American soccer. Pulisic, we've been told for years he's coming for Landon Donovan's crown. But if you ask Americans, who gives you better feelings about American soccer? Christian Pulisic or Landon Donovan? It's Landon Donovan. And so he put on his fake hair and he went on and he went on and he went on Pulisic.
People are fed up with it. They treat people poorly. They do things poorly. It's always a no. Whenever you want to ask, can we do an interview? It's always a no. You can't get near him. He doesn't say hi to the commentators who do all the games all the time when they walk by. All the other guys come over and shake hands and say hello. There's just this sense about him that like you can't get near him. It's too big. And I actually don't think it's from him. I think it's from the people around him. They need to stop and he needs to man up and have a conversation with them and say, look, guys, this is not helping me. He needs to get some training on media. I did too. I said a lot of dumb shit and people are like, hey, Landon, you don't want to come off this way, do you? And I still make mistakes all the time. All of these things can be a positive. I have to say though, he has a big challenge ahead because Tim, I'm thinking ahead to the next game. And JR, like if we happen to be at this game, the next US game in this country, what do you think that's going to look like? Like think about that. Is he going to get booed when they announce him? Maybe. People are livid. So anyway, it's a long-winded way of saying this can be a good moment in your life. A lot of things need to change. And I actually think it's not him. I think it's the people around.
Zaz, I would make an argument that Mike Ryan, among American mainstream media members, has done an exceptional job covering soccer for many years now, back when he was doing a podcast for Chelsea that had a lot of interference in it because of how careful the rules are around everything Chelsea-related and just Premier League and soccer-related in Europe. But today, at the end of the show, live, he will have Chris Whittingham and his friend Tom. I forget his last name. Bogert.
Everyone knows who you are.
Fantastic mustache.
Yes, and they will do Morally Abhorrent as the live post-game show to talk about some of this stuff. But you also know that Mike is a bit of a know-it-all, and Mike rarely asks for help of any kind. He had to interview Pulisic twice for that podcast, and twice he requested some help because Pulisic was such a bad interview. Just a terrible interview. And since then, he's been protected. But the idea that we're now at the stage where it's not just turning on America's greatest hope and name in goal scoring because he played poorly. Donovan just put his name on, and the people around him are assholes, and he's soft with the people around him. That's a bad 48 hours.
I hated everything. I understand what Landon Donovan is saying, and I believe what he's saying, and I hated all of it. Like, I hate that stuff where you're not treating people around you well, where you're rude to people, you're bigger than everyone, and, you know, realistically, at least in this country, I understand he's performed well in Premier League, but in this country, he hasn't accomplished anything, and I hate hearing that about that type of behavior.
He's been good for AC Milan in stretches. I mean, you can make an argument a couple times that on form he was the best player, best attacking player in that league, and then injuries, and then the last half season
doesn't mean you
Italy.
should be a dick.
No, I think Landon kind of let him off the hook a little bit because at Chelsea, his family isn't around him. The same handlers aren't around him. I know people have had their opinions for years on Christian's dad. But you're letting Christian a little off the hook. Christian is just not a people person. Christian hates doing media, which is going to be funny when he inevitably makes a turn as being one of the more recognizable names to all of a sudden being a media presence who's bad at media, who actually loathes the idea. We do this often. It's where Bill Belichick can be an absolute dick to the media for 20 years, and then because of his greatness, all of a sudden turn and think he can have a media empire and will allow it. Because you got name recognition. Christian's let off the hook there a little bit by Landon because Christian himself is just not a people person. I don't know if there's like a social thing that goes on with him, but he hates the media. He hates doing interviews. He hates answering questions that you wouldn't even think to be invasive, like just casual getting to know you questions. He's a challenge there. But
He's the captain of the team. Grow up.
He was the captain of the team, and that captaincy was removed from him because on his watch, he's a more lead by example type of guy. They displayed a lot of immaturity. There was breaking of curfews. He's not a vocal guy. Some people are like that. I think, like I mentioned yesterday, Christian has lived this very charmed existence in U.S. soccer and with clubs because everyone knows when he is healthy and when he is in top form, he's really good. He is a quality world-class attacker, the best talent we've ever produced. I mean, he is decorated. He's won a Champions League. Yeah, he wasn't starting, but at times for Chelsea he was really important, and he's shown in Italy he can be a really good player. But it was always load management, protect his ego. We always want him to succeed. If we deal with all these weird idiosyncratic things that are around him, it puts him in the best possible spot for when he's in his prime of his career, he can put this nation on his back and win a game that they're not expected to. And when he doesn't perform, when he asks out of a game, when he has a horrific quote where Landon is 100% on the money, this dude needs media training and has needed it for quite some time. When you fail to deliver and everyone has been working around your sensitivities, that is why you're seeing the hammer being dropped on Christian Pulisic. It is years of frustration boiling over.
In this episode, Landon Donovan also mentioned how Christian's not going to like hearing it from me. He already doesn't like me. So there's a history between the two of them.
Christian doesn't like anybody but Jeff Cameron. Christian doesn't have he's got some friends that are his teammates, but Christian does not have close relationships in the media at all. And with the older generation, they say these things. You can tell in their coverage. You can tell two things. They don't like the way that Christian Pulisic approaches the game. And, they hate Jesse Marsch, the Canadian manager. They hate him.
Just to cover a couple of things here that we just did that I don't want to be doing, okay? Tony Reale used to bust taping on Around the Horn whenever any of the new people who were on there would get in the comfort of whatever sports radio standards are and do some form nationally of saying that person, bad guy. Asshole, some version of that happens a lot in sports radio, but you don't see a lot on television. You don't actually see a lot on television anyone say that person's a bad person, a dick. Like, it's not something you see very often. So I don't want to do this to Pulisic, but I do want to address a couple of the things that Mike said there, because if you want to be an American star, you've got to make a choice between, are you going to be excellent or are you going to be a little bit of a personality? Because you can't be the way Pulisic's being and not perform, because this is what's going to happen to you. The stardom, when you don't participate, engage in the relationship, what ends up happening is I think I can form a pretty decent argument that the most famous names in American soccer are still Landon Donovan and Alexi Lalas. Like, I think I can make that argument. And it's not because of excellence in Lalas's case. And Pulisic might not want to play the media game, but he's not good enough to not play it. He doesn't perform enough to not play it. And so what he's getting today is that Zaslow is coming by the opinion because Landon Donovan is telling him, bad dude. And I was just doing bad player yesterday. And
I think you're taking some liberties here. Neither Landon or I said Christian is a bad dude. I said he's idiosyncratic and has some social stuff. And Landon put it a lot on his camp. And I said, you got to put some of this on Christian because at 27 years old, he's a grown-ass man.
I understand anybody who's got media discomforts, and you have a number of ways that you can do this. I don't think I've ever heard Lionel Messi do a good interview, ever, in any language. But he doesn't have much of a taste for the media, doesn't show much in the way of personality either, but everybody always wants to talk to him, and you will not hear an assortment of unprofessional things about him or his handlers. To hear this about Pulisic, to me, yesterday, the reason I had the smile on my face is seeing with great wonder, okay, so free agency fizzles out just waiting a little bit by LeBron. Nobody wants to talk about Justin Verlander or Aaron Boone being ejected, or even though they've lost 11 of 13, or Dylan Cease going into the ninth inning with a no-hitter. They don't want to talk about that.
I do.
The void in the addiction of, nope, we've got the attention span right now for the World Cup for about 2 months. And here's a day off. What do I do with myself and the day off? Mike, are you surprised? You've been waiting for this day, I dare say, more than a decade. You've been probably all your life in some form. You've been waiting for these games. You're flying all over. These tickets are very expensive. Where has this ranked for you in terms of you mainlining a sport for 2 months and just feeling like a bit of a cocaine addict?
I don't even know how to answer that question at all. Been a weird one. But when it comes to the last 24 hours and the fallout from their performance, I'm proud of us. Dude. It's great. Christian deserves this. And it's so funny to me because the whole thing with Christian is he doesn't like talking to the media because he doesn't want to create headaches for himself. And everyone's pouncing on him because he asked out of a game and he said it's time to rest up. It's something that he said, which again goes to Landon's point about media training. I hope we keep this energy up. Don Garber did an interview where he commended Landon, who said going behind a paywall with MLS was a mistake. Very rare for a commissioner to say, yeah, we shouldn't have done that, which is why we altered that. You would love domestically the energy to continue, but I just don't think Nick Wright, who's been great, Dan, to your credit, you've been doing as well as you can in learning and trying to talk about the main talking points. Colin Cowherd has done so. ESPN is trying to inject as many soccer people as they can, knowing their limitations, but we're trying to get better. People are talking about this seriously. The biggest podcast, Bill Simmons, part of my take, they talk about soccer with reverence, and that's a seismic shift. I am proud of us. We are not going to keep that energy for Rapids Real Salt Lake. We are not. We are flatly not, which is a shame. But here's something that we can do, because the television numbers are through the roof. On English language alone, this is... and it's impossible to count because no one watches soccer by themselves in their home when it's a World Cup. We all go out and we watch this in scores, by the hundreds, right? But 40 million plus on English language, that's bigger than the national title game, which was a huge number. Spanish language equals that. You have something that is approaching Super Bowl type numbers that is happening here. So here's where we can keep the energy. We clearly like the international game. We don't like the club game. MLS is growing, whatever. It's on Apple TV. It's hard to keep that energy. Football's around the corner. This is a World Cup finals, which you're witnessing. The final isn't just like the last game. This is the World Cup finals. The World Cup actually goes on for about 3.5 years with qualifying. We didn't experience that because as a host nation, we just qualified automatically, and we had a series of friendlies that we didn't really take seriously. Let's keep this energy for the U.S. men's team, and certainly next year when the women, who've actually earned the right to be talked about seriously with reverence and respect, when they are in the World Cup in Brazil next year. Let's keep that going. I think we can get the storylines down when it comes to the national team crests over the heart. So let's keep that energy when we have a tough World Cup qualifier in Curacao.
Let's talk a little bit, though, about the numbers, okay? Because Mexico-England is one of the most watched televised things that there have been, because it's pretty rare when the world gathers around the television.
It's emotional.
I like that Japan and the United States have made baseball so that the World Series feels more global.
The Islamic Republic of Japan?
That's correct. The idea, though, that I have seen all over our city, televisions and screens, giant screens pop up in places where you would not see them. And like the restaurant burgeoning economy of, and we'll put tables in the street. This has come and ransacked Miami during a time that is very slow. Everyone leaves Miami this time of year. All of the money tends to leave, and a lot of these homes where this is such a rich place are second homes for vacationing people from other places. This is a quieter place during the summer. But this thing has ransacked this community, which is super ethnic, okay? When I tell you big screens filling up with people who are not normally together in parks, like that's not... If you've seen what's happened in the disconnecting of the devices that make it so your children don't play in a yard anymore with other kids in the front of the street, whatever happened to us over the last 20 years, it's been interesting to watch the streets fill with singing people and money spill everywhere in the drinking and consuming of this thing, because the sport has gotten a hold of people and made them feel something good, and it's just actually getting started, because the playoffs start now. Like, whatever you've been watching that's been a lot of fun and it's been interesting, yeah, okay. That's the regular season of whatever this is, 4 years of season to get to this point. Now the games really begin, because Argentina shouldn't be scared like that against the last two opponents. It shouldn't be that close, but now they have our attention. Unfortunately, this is the squandered opportunity of the last 48 hours. The U.S. almost got to the playoffs, the real playoffs, not the stuff that we've been doing. that is a nice little warm-up, but the numbers, Zaz. When Mike says, you realize every television I see in public has 40 people around it. That's one television, but you ain't watching this alone. This stuff is best shared, and it's different from any other emotion in your life. You don't jump up and down screaming very often when you're happy. You don't start screaming at people, inanimate things, you know, a referee a world away. You don't start doing that in your normal life with other things very often.
I've only done it once ever with the U.S. men's national team, and it's probably the same for a lot of people, and it was Landon Donovan against Algeria, or
it's a goal.
Yeah.
America this century remembers a goal. It's been 25 years. That's the squandered opportunity. And if they get to these next games, they could have gotten Landon Donovan. Still, Alexi Lalas and Landon Donovan have built media careers post-retirement because they touched us there. However many years ago that was. I don't even know how many years ago.
Well, Landon Donovan was 2010, I think, right? Yeah. That's the only time I've been, like, jumping up and down because of a moment in U.S. soccer. I wish there were more.
I think in defeat, everyone can point to Tim Howard's performance against Belgium, where they played their hearts out against a really talented Belgian side, but like this last time.
But a save elicits a different reaction than a goal. Like, you didn't jump up off the couch, jump up and down from one of those 16 saves. Like it's amazing, every one of them. But
Tim, I'm forever grateful. On the media side, he leaves stuff to be desired, and he's improving, but like he made himself a media career. And he's pretty recognizable even to the casuals. He made himself a sex symbol. Like that performance is an all-timer.
But think about what it is the missed opportunity here, as when I tell you, yes, 16 years ago, Landon Donovan and Alexi Lalas built media careers on a moment in time when America was paying attention to soccer. Like, that's the thing that we've been talking about for the better part of 40 years as we continue to have these conversations about, I don't get it, our kids play soccer. Yeah, but you don't care about it the way the Brazilians do. The way you care about it is to have those moments that make you jump up and down with your kids so that when they're burying you, they remember that time? That's as happy as I've ever seen, Dad. The happiest I've ever seen my father is running around a living room because the ball went through Bill Buckner's legs in the 1986 World Series because they got here, went to Central Islip. My mother and him went to Shea Stadium and went to Mets games, and so they became Mets fans. And it was really becoming fans of America is what they were doing. Like, what do you mean we can do all of this? And so the happiest I've ever seen my father is there, and I'm guessing that's as happy as your kids have ever seen. I mean, it's in the realm, right? I guess the Panthers probably do some of this to you as well.
The Panthers, yeah. The Panthers are the greatest experience I've ever had as a sports fan because I got to experience it with my boys. Yeah.
Carson Beck with his legs.
Well, I was on
Tony, still running, motherfucker.
I was on my own because I was on the road with ESPN, so I was watching Carson Beck with his legs in a hotel room by myself.
Little sad.
But if I could also tell you though, because you say how everybody gathers around television and watches the World Cup together, my wife is out of town right now. If she weren't out of town and I wasn't living the bachelor life, I'd be watching by myself on an iPad on my stomach.
This was a wasted opportunity, and it's crazy that one performance went so sideways that it burned up all the goodwill to where you can't even say, yeah, like on the macro level, they reached expectations. But the way that it fizzled out was a nightmare, and now it leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Can you imagine if we just did what we were supposed to do? We'd have a game against Spain tomorrow with a shot at the semifinals to start your weekend. You would have had Spain, USA in LA.
That's a good start to the weekend.
The thing that makes you lament the squandered opportunity, though, is as nice of a World Cup run as it was, because you got 4 games that you were paying attention to, or 5, and 4, I guess 3 of them felt good. The idea that you don't have from being the host country a World Cup moment of any kind that makes, think of Landon Donovan 16 years later, whatever he says and does now, I'm associating him with that moment. Alexi Lalas, I'm associating him with that team, that time, and that he was near Landon Donovan's moment. we don't have any moments. Everyone's yelling at the star of the team because he asked out of the game and he doesn't like the media and doesn't want to talk to anybody about anything. So you don't have a moment and you don't have a personality and you don't have anything.
The Tillman and Freeman goals were really cool, but not good enough.
I'm talking about one of these moments that echoes like where it feels like the country's shaking. The Landon Donovan goal was that. I associate him with only one thing, and it's his hair.
In terms of wins, this was the most successful Men's World Cup we've ever had. We've never won this much. I do think the overall performance against Paraguay is something that people, that feel good to kick off this tournament where everyone looked at each other like, holy crap, do we have a shot? I think people will remember that feel good, and then probably Tillman's goal to secure the victory against Bosnia and Herzegovina.
It's too broad. You're asking too much of memory and history. Yeah, maybe they'll remember 4-1. They'll remember, but I'm talking about the moments that connect you because you're building up to something and the tensions in your heart. Man, I have not seen South Florida like this. It's weird for me to see it because even during the championship runs, Zaz, of all of the teams down here, we have too many ethnicities down here. Not everybody's about it.
Go on.
Not basketball, baseball, college football. Not everyone in town is about a thing. But here, this thing, I can honestly say I haven't seen television sprout up in parks even when the Heat are making championship runs. Not all over. In some places, but not all over.
I thought you were tired of all the singing.
I am. But it went away, and now I miss it. It went away. Those people were only here to drink for 13 days, and then they had to get back to whatever their jobs are in the country where they can go be pink and drink 20 beers a day and sing songs all night.
They're not going back to their jobs. They're European. They have the entire summer off. That was another thing that I learned working with Chelsea. No one gets back to an email over the summer. They're just on a seasonal holiday.
You haven't told us very much. I'm always the one volunteering that you did that with Chelsea and you tried so very hard to bring out his personality. Like you were trying to help him. You were not an adversary. You were doing something for a Chelsea podcast that was meant to celebrate him and American soccer and the fact that America had a player good enough to play in the biggest league.
Yeah, it was a propaganda arm. I love Chelsea. I got to work with the club and I tried to adhere to some principles, but yeah, it was to grow the game and to grow Chelsea's brand in the States. We were successful. It was a very successful podcast, and a large part of it came about because they signed Christian Pulisic. And at the time, that was probably the biggest move an American soccer player had ever made. Chelsea's a big club. Chelsea went on to win Champions League after signing Christian, so it was a big part of their strategy was let's grow our fan base here in America with the biggest American soccer player, and you'd like a personality that leans into that. We're not going to ask him pressing questions that, put him in an uncomfortable spot. We're asking him personality-driven questions, and guy just didn't have any time for it, hated doing it, hates media altogether, thinks people, I guess, are out to get them, hard to get him to make eye contact. The only time I think I interviewed him 3 times, and the only time I ever brought anything out of him was one time during COVID, I guess when he was like totally isolated and just happy to see somebody because he was over in the UK. But yeah, he was a real challenge. And some people, that's all right. You can be tough in media and just do your obligations. You mentioned Messi, notoriously terrible. Media doesn't like doing it, has a system in place that actively keeps the media away from him. But that's Messi, the greatest of all time. Pulisic was just merely the most talented in American time on the men's side. And we were so desperate for success, we allowed that to happen. And that's why you're seeing the whole world crash in on him right now, because everybody was biting their tongues.
But also with Messi, I understand, okay, he doesn't do media, but, he's Messi and he's performing on the field. We're not getting these stories about Messi, about, him and his people not treating people nice, right?
Well, no, that's out there.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, that's out there. But people don't care. He's the best.
When Mike is saying, though, now the hyenas have been let loose, and when he's talking there about media tongue biting, I'm not used to that, right? The way the European press covers soccer is like the last 24 hours have felt to the United States. It's angry. It's poisoned. It's mean.
Have you watched what's going on with Lamine Yamal? Lamine Yamal is 18 years old. He's going to be 19 next week. And he is being crushed because he is not carrying his team, a team that has surrendered 0 goals this tournament. because he is not dominating the way that he did in the Euros and not dominating the way that he did for FC Barcelona. He is getting crushed at 18 years old.
I couldn't believe that when I was watching the game against Portugal the other day, and they said how Spain has not conceded a single goal yet this term. Like, what? They haven't given up a goal?
Yeah, but that's an 18-year-old that's already won a major tournament for his national team, that has been the best player in one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he is getting destroyed. And we don't do that with Christian Pulisic in this country.
Well, calm down, Spain. Sheesh. It's 18.
The thing, though, I wonder, I want to get into this with the group because I wonder if America has the history or understands what happened in that Colombia game at the end and how hard life is about to get for Campas, because he missed that goal in the second overtime, and he had a breakaway. It's straight on goal. You can advance. You beat Switzerland. We've talked about the 30 for 30, the Escobar. Are they brothers?
The two Escobars. You keep trying to make them brothers.
I keep making them brothers. Forgive me for making that title, the Escobar brothers. But a Colombian soccer player was shot for an own goal in a situation like this, because this is what Colombia has. This is their national pride. This is their identity. This is the biggest thing. And they play a style of play. They play a style of play, Zaz, that doesn't score very much. Like they drag the game into the mud, even though I'd like them to play more like Brazil. You miss a goal and people remember you forever. And his life just got really hard. Like in that country specifically, because it was him and the goalie. He's right on the goal. Everyone's exhausted. They don't want to take it to penalty kicks. And he just missed. It seems impossible the way that he missed. It's about the easiest chance anyone's had in the entire tournament.
Kind of feels not worth it to play when you sum it up like that.
I mean, it seems dangerous. The
perks are pretty good. They haven't come to the U.S.-born soccer player just yet, the perks, but there is an incredible lifestyle. It's like Formula One all the time for these guys when they're playing for bigger clubs.
So we're just not going to talk about the Marlins.
It's a national topic, baby. Coming up this Friday on Mystery Crate, we have Zaz's old-ass story. We got an ass story from me. We are tiering months. We are putting all the months in tiers. Which ones are good? Which ones are bad? A lot more on the show, Tony.
We also have the top 5 reasons why Jeremy is more Republican than he thinks.
Oh, it's a great list.
Which is also a great list. And me and Jess, and what would you say of Lehman? Like a hand of Lehman.
We get fisted by Lehman.
Wow. Old wooden ships.
Yes.
San Diego. Old wooden ships in the New York Harbor. A lot of great stuff on Mystery Crate.
On the way out, Rose, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
22.
What did you do that for?
God. Well, she misses them on the show. Check it out.
Pitch Clock coming at you on Thursday on the Dan Le Batard Show. And, of course, you can always watch it on the YouTube playlist for the Pitch Clock on the Le Batard Show YouTube page. We've got another competitive trivia game between Chris and myself. We're starting to see some distance being created within our trivia matchup, so see if I'm able to take another one home or if Chris will be able to come out the victor. But most importantly, it's the end of the first half of Major League Baseball. We've got Adnan Virk, our most consistent guest, here to give out first half awards. MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Executive of the Year, Manager of the Year. He also tells us his most entertaining teams and predicts what the World Series is going to look like. We've got all of that and more on the Pitch Clock. Be sure to tune in.
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
No, it's the famous actor
and I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro, but I think it's
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's a few
That's
good
the one I
men,
bought.
and that's a few good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth. I
You
can't.
can't handle the truth.
Still no.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day.
This is in honor of what just happened in the last segment, where Zaz, who's been following all the soccer, was taken aback by the fact that Spain hasn't allowed a goal, because we're so obsessed with stars and offense that we did not know that dating back to the 2022 World Cup, Spain is now the first team in World Cup history. 6 consecutive. We don't allow goals. We don't. You're not going to beat us because no one is going to score on us.
That's so good.
It's pretty good, yeah. It's never been done before. They've been playing soccer a long time, been doing the World Cup a long time. A lot of goals have been scored, not as many as Americans would like. But yeah, Spain's pretty good at not allowing you to score goals. Thank you, Poppy. I appreciate all the support there. Let's go back to David Lee Roth and the secondhand cringe that Zaslow hates. Now, Zaz, I'm warning you. Let's keep a Zaz cam here because Zaz says he feels terrible shame and embarrassment on behalf of others. And I believe this video is going to make him feel shame and embarrassment for David Lee Roth. So
I get bad secondhand embarrassment.
give me a Zaz, give me a close-up, give me a Zaz cam, give me something that really digs in on Zaz here because I'm wincing just as I see this up. So this is the context. It's a Las Vegas hotel, and David,
we have video of this?
Yeah, listen to me.
We pick up right before the door opens.
Zaz, what did you say? You said that on a flight somewhere you were trying to hide because of Tim Robinson's comedy? Because
Oh, my God. I watched on a flight to London. I watched the movie Friendship with Tim What's his name again?
Tim Robinson.
Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. And I was so uncomfortable watching the movie, I had to press pause for a moment and just walk up and down the aisle a couple times.
Okay, so this is the context you need. Mike, help me. This is David Lee Roth in his 60s, looking dapper. It's a Las Vegas hallway, and he is looking like you would dress in a 1920-era Depression saloon where you're a gangster. It's gray. It's a vest. He's feeling good about himself. He always does. He's a rock star. He's David Lee Roth, and he hears...
It is a Peaky Blinder type outfit.
Thank you. I could have said it in those words, and it would have been much quicker.
I also had to Google Peaky Blinders. It's been a minute.
So the alleyway, though, here to this, the hallway, is a Las Vegas hallway with all of the sadness that connotes, okay? Just doors and doors, endless doors. There's no one on this hallway except the ghost of David Lee Roth, who hears Van Halen in one of the rooms, and there's some kids in there, and won't they be excited to meet the lead singer of Van Halen? Here it is.
We heard some Van Halen here, and my name's David Lee Roth, and I'm right across the hallway. Want to know, we're on our way to EDC, but the fellas here were coming down the hallway, and they said, shit, we heard some Van Halen, and I said, no, shit. So we're your neighbors, guys. We're off to EDC. We're doing shit. And we heard one of the fellas said, I heard some Van Halen shit through the doorway. So I am Van Halen. We'll be here still. Outstanding. Fellas, my pleasure. Have a great night. Enjoy the Vegas stay. Small, tiny world. I apologize now. No, don't.
They don't know who he is.
They thought it was a noise complaint.
Yeah, they don't know who he is.
Why is the commissioner of the Monster Big 12 at our door?
It does look like a Yormark.
I mean, he has to introduce when he opens the door, I'm David Lee Roth.
Well, eventually just went to I'm Van Halen because they didn't know who David Lee Roth was.
That was my
So he
favorite
just-
part. No, I'm Van Halen.
They don't even remember Sammy Hagar. Like they don't remember what came after him. Those were young kids.
I got to be honest. And I know who Van Halen is, although I don't get Van Halen. But I know who Van Halen is, and obviously I know David Lee Roth. If that guy knocked on my door and he's, all looking like, Peaky Blinders, I don't think I would recognize that David Lee Roth.
And he's aggressively charismatic in a way. He really carried. It could have been.
Hey, we heard some music.
It could have been. That was Chris Farley more than.
We're headed to EDC.
And the guy who opens the door wearing a R.I.P. Harambe shirt, just staring him in the face like, what is happening
What a
right
time
now?
capsule that video.
It's incredible.
Like David Lee Roth, former lead singer of one of the biggest bands in the world at the time.
Biggest rock star in the world for a couple of years.
He himself, he went out of his way to knock on their door.
They thought it was a noise complaint.
And I feel like during this conversation, they're probably saying to themselves, I hope he goes away soon.
No one in that room, and there were about 5 dudes, no one knew who that was. They were all confused, and they were being polite because a guy had a camera and a headset.
But they want him to go away.
I'm Van Halen. All right. You guys going to EDC?
He carried it with charisma. Otherwise, that could have been really, really uncomfortable because if he had not kept talking because he was on camera and he's forever David Lee Roth, it would have just been a whole bunch of dudes staring at a curiosity from across the hall. Who's this grandfather and why is he knocking on our door about the noise?
Like the only reason that they're any kind of curious and even smiling is because there's very clearly a camera and there are lights. So
Well, it's his headset, too. He's got a performer's headset. He's got a microphone, as he always does, right in front of his mouth.
This has Kevin Rogers Radio Row vibes a little bit.
Lincoln Kennedy, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm working. Where you go? You on the FHM party tonight? You going to FHM tonight? All right. I'll see you later.
Going to EDC tonight? All right, we'll catch you at EDC. I'm Van Halen.
I'm Van Halen. It's such a funny thing for him to say 30 years after he hasn't been Van Halen.
I'm Van Halen, and you were tremendous.
They famously stayed Van Halen after he left, making him very much not Van Halen.
It'd be like if I said hello to people like that. They don't know who I am, and then I just said, I'm Dan Le Batard Show.
I'm Le Batard Show. You going to Flanagan's tonight? Catch you later.
Why would I say that?
Can I interest you guys in a list of the top 10 pass rushers ranked? ESPN.com yesterday.
Damn, the World Cup's almost over.
Man,
huh?
so still no Marlins.
Oh, LeBron's got to pick a team.
You know what? I do want to talk about the Marlins for a second, and I want to talk about them nationally because we might as well be first to the story. It is just baseball, but the lowest payroll in baseball has figured out some things about how to win cheaply. And while they don't have quite the top of the rotation the Phillies do, they'd have one of the best records in the American League right now. They are a very good baseball team. They're third in their division, but they beat Seattle yesterday again. What are they, 19-2 at home over the last 21? Something absurd like that?
Yeah, they've won 15 of their last 17 at home. They won 15 of their last 19 overall. They have the best record in baseball since June 1st. They have a better record than the Yankees. Like, most people think the Yankees will go to the World Series.
Well, yeah,
They've lost 10 of 13. They've been dreadful. But the Marlins, just a few games before the All-Star break, have a better record than the New York Yankees.
This is funny to me, as always, when it happens, because I hesitate to try and trust my front office to be smarter than everyone else's front office. Carolina just won the Cup, the Stanley Cup. They just won it, and their owner is notoriously cheap, and he's put his family on the trophy. You have to, when you're building these things, and you're in charge of something that's a little bit precious, and rich people can lack a certain class. So I want to get to that Carolina story in a second with you, but the people who have run the Marlins here for a while have done it very poorly for a really long time. But the new people who borrowed all of those Tampa Bay principles and got cheap and efficient have the lowest payroll in baseball. And they're taking out Seattle here, who is beneath them record-wise, and just, played at the top of the sport for the World Series. Some of this stuff can be super random, like the Big Dumper's terrible now. He's batting 160 with 9 homers. And you can't recreate this from year to year. But in their division, where the Braves and the Phillies are ahead of them, the Mets spent all the money in the world, and it's just a total clown show. And with the lowest payroll in baseball, the Marlins are playing better than the Braves right now, who have been terrible, and playing with the Phillies. They're better than the Phillies since the beginning of June, and they're good enough to play for that division. Their run differential, the Phillies have a far worse run differential than the Marlins do.
They're negative.
The Marlins are a good baseball team, hard stop. Like, it's not. This is going to be something that needs to be reckoned with, because when their young people go to Oakland to play their young people, they ravage them. Like, they've got a talent disparity with young arms and young discounts and young people who are super, super hungry. Baseball's really random and weird, and this team is good. Like, it's healthy and it's good.
What's crazy is that, yes, it's healthy overall. Pitching-wise, they started this with essentially 2 starting pitchers. It was Max Meyer and it was Sandy Alcantara. Yuri Perez missed a month in the span of all of this, and that's part of why he was taken out during the perfect game. They have Tyler Phillips, who had been a reliever all of last year, shifted back into a starting role. He threw 5 shutout innings last night, and he was a guy they traded for cash considerations. The thing that Peter Bendix has done is it's finding the diamonds in the rough. Some of the bigger free agent signings where they've spent more money, ironically, have not always panned out. Pete Fairbanks is starting to pitch well. It feels like in the last week or so he's maybe turned a corner a bit. But Chris Paddock didn't work out. Christopher Morel didn't work out. But it's all these other guys. It's Otto Lopez, who was DFA'd by multiple teams, that's now going to be a shortstop in the All-Star game. If he gets a hit in the next 4 games, we'll have the most hits by the All-Star break in Marlins history. Like, he's having a tremendous year. Liam Hicks, Xavier Edwards being given second base. Kyle Stowers, who's starting to rip the ball again and looking like his all-star self. This team is good.
Did he dap him up yesterday? Did he do that to Stowers?
Funny that you asked that, Dan. I specifically, I was on ESPN last night, but I was watching the Marlins on my iPad while I was working. And one of the main reasons that I did that, yes, the game was close, so I wanted to see how it ended, but I wanted to see if Jeremy Taché, in his post-game interview, which he did on the field last night with Kyle Stowers, if he was going to dap him up. And I don't believe that he did.
I am told that we don't have video of that we only have a photo of that. We don't have video proof of anything DAP-related.
Yeah, you can't prove anything.
Okay, very interesting that you said that. And the reason that we don't have video is because you actually can't see on the video when Jeremy either shakes his hand like a normal professional broadcaster, or if he daps him up, which was very unprofessional and a little bit cringeworthy a couple of nights ago because the lower third on the video was covering it up. So, we only have a still image. And
so you didn't come this hard at Jeremy yesterday, though. You believe it to be unprofessional in the way that he shook hands.
Well, are they bros? Like, are you friends? I don't know. You tell me, Jeremy. Is that your bro the other night? Who was it? Was it Marcy?
Yeah, both Marcy and Stowers are my guys.
Those
are my guys. Those are my guys.
What does that
Not
mean?
my bros, but they're my guys.
What does that mean, and what does turn a corner mean? I saw Chris got excited with a turned corner.
Fairbanks turned a corner?
He might have turned a corner.
Did he take a step or did he turn a corner?
Taking a step is I think, too far. Turning a corner before you take a step.
He's already taken the steps in his career to be a good pitcher, so now it's just we're looking for corners to
You
turn.
can't turn a corner without taking a step.
I feel like when you're young and you're not established, that's when you're taking steps. Once you establish yourself, there's really no more steps
I view
to
it
take.
as a
Now we're
step
just looking
up
for
the
corners to turn.
stairs, right? Like you turn a corner, you're still on flat ground, but I view taking a step as taking a step up.
So
right?
around the corner come the stairs. That
That's
you step
right.
Up.
That's right.
But look, you can
You don't
still
even
take
know the
a
stairs
step
are
on
there.
a flat surface, guys. What are we doing?
Speaking of flat surfaces and stairs, I was wondering the other day if it's better exercise to walk level or downstairs. Because it's definitely the most exercise to walk upstairs, right? We can all agree there.
Okay, but better exercise to walk level. So how long are these stairs?
No, I'm just saying because walking downstairs is a breeze. I had this thought because when I was walking down like 4 stories of stairs the other day, I'm just like, this is easy. I'm not tired at all. Whereas if I walked up those stairs, I would be like, my legs would be burning. And I got to thinking,
it's a real Bill Nye the Science Guy thing you got going.
Better exercise to walk level? If I walk 100 stories downstairs, or if I walk 100, like the equivalent distance,
that
just
many
level,
steps.
What's better exercise?
Is what you're arguing here? There is a funny bit here.
Rest in peace, John Brinkus.
Bill Guy instead of Bill Nye. Here he is, just trying to bring up scientific topics here and trying to examine the physics of does the momentum of going downstairs help you so much that it's actually less exercise?
Am I gaining weight when I walk downstairs? If I'm losing weight walking upstairs.
Bill Guy Science Nye is the segment, and it's just Chris Cody doing science.
I'm convinced I'm gaining weight when I walk
put it
downstairs.
on the poll. Are you gaining weight when you walk down the stairs?
So you're asking the question. You're seriously asking the question right now.
How many am I burning more calories walking level or downstairs?
Okay. So
a couple nights ago, Jeremy daps up Jacob Marcy.
Smooth as hell.
And last night, the screen cut it off in live view, but I'm fairly certain you did not dap up Kyle Stowers. That I don't know for sure.
So what are you alleging? That he's extra chummy with when he daps, he's being extra chummy? He's not. When he says that's my guy, he's got a guy order on who his guy is, and if he daps him up, that's a higher guy than the other guy.
That's what it would appear to be, yeah.
I want to establish some ground rules. What are your goals while you're walking? Are you trying to burn more calories? Or are you trying to build up specific muscles? Because you can argue walking downstairs works some muscles that walking on a flat surface doesn't. And if that's your goal, to build up the quads, then walk downstairs. But if your goal is to burn calories,
it's calories.
Flat surface.
I want to get skinnier.
Flat surface.
Heard.
Well, I think this is heart rate related though, because if you keep going downstairs,
So it's the speed I'm going.
Yeah, well, it's not just the speed.
Same can be said for a flat surface, guys.
You want to keep your heart rate in a certain area to fat burn, but if you're going downstairs and you start, I believe that ends up being more exercise over time if it's going to be 100 stairs versus the same distance flat.
So for me, it depends on the result of the game. So for Marcy, that's a walk-off. That's a huge moment. He's been struggling. Kyle Stowers been playing well over the last several games. So, he hits the home run in the second inning. They win 2-0.
All right,
it's
but
really
what
more
if
about the pitching.
What if it's a guy who, you don't even know that well on the team that does the walk-off?
I know the ball well. I do my job well.
You're gonna dap up anyone who gets a walk-off is getting dapped up by Jeremy Taché. That's
more
what you're
likely
saying.
than not. They're coming to me. But what you didn't see was the dap before the camera started rolling. With Marcy.
So you dapped him up twice, you're saying?
Well, he dapped
me up.
I'm hearing other sources say that they also saw what you saw last night, Zaz. No dap. It's cut off on video, but he did not dap up Stowers.
Well, I think then there's something to be said about that. Clearly your relationship with Marcy's a little bit different than Stowers.
But he's right when he says the game before it was more exciting.
Win's a win!
But they were up 4-2, and then they were down 5-4, and they got a big home run, and then they won in extra innings. The game the night before was more energetic. Last night was 2-0. It didn't have the same drama. That's what Jeremy's alleging. He's not alleging bias. He's alleging the emotion of the moment.
The last thing that I am, guys, is performative. Okay?
If I'm walking upstairs, my thighs start to burn. Which muscles will start to burn if I walk downstairs? Is
Quads,
it the same muscles?
Quads.
Okay.
Guys, I answered this question.
Calves, too. Your calves.
Yeah. Look, also, if you're looking to work out those specific parts of your body, it doesn't come without a cost. Because it's tougher on your knees to walk downstairs than it is to walk a flat surface. But if your goal is burning calories,
which it is,
flat surface.
You don't think as you're walking away, someone says, that Taché kid, a little too comfortable around the guys. He's not on the team.
No, I think that's actually something that I've been complimented for by the people behind the scenes.
That you're on the team?
Is that
you're complimented that you're on the team?
Is the comfortable relationship that I'm able to establish with these players to get them to like me, for me to like them, to learn more about their story. There's a reason why talking with Taché is a thing that exists, where I'll be interviewing Otto Lopez about his experience getting named an All-Star, and that'll be out on Marlins.tv, which you can purchase for less than 50 cents a game right now.
How does walking backwards play in here?
So out of all your hustles, the only one where you overstay your welcome is this one.
I was never welcomed.
That's a good point.
I mean, but you do much to endear yourself with, I do my job well, and there's a reason that talking with Taché exists.
Yeah, that's right.
I do my job well. I don't believe I've ever heard anyone on this show say. Now, it's also true of the rest of us, but I do my job well is not something I've heard said out loud by anyone here about anything in 21 years.
No, I'm good at pretty much everything I do, except for here. I am. I can't dance either.
He's Italian, Marcy, right? You should do a little, double peck.
I'll bring it up in the clubhouse.
I'll
bring it up in the clubhouse. I'll tell him,
That's
hey,
good.
next time you have a
That's
walk-off,
good.
little double Bezos.
See, let's test some boundaries. Let's go. Let's use
After the dap.
Let's use the sideline. Let's make it a tapestry of politics.
tapestry.
Yeah, of politics. Look, show the Giants something. The Giants stink. The Giants and their boy manager stink. They spend all sorts of money. They stink. The Marlins have something here.
Can't believe your logo is the dude from La Bamba.
I can't believe your logo is Mike Biamonte.
Talking with Taché looks like
Featuring.
looks like Whittingham. Jason Benetti is going to join us here shortly, and I'm eager to ask him all of these questions because I don't fancy him much of a dapper. Do you think? I think he's professional at all times, and I do think he can say he's good at his job, but would never. Have you ever said, Benetti, have you ever said publicly to anyone, I'm good at my job?
No, I've said it privately when I felt like I've needed to, but not publicly, no.
Yes,
Wait, this is public?
In order to save your job, you may have said it to an employer who didn't realize how hard your job was, but that you are at the top of your craft. I can't imagine you saying to anybody, I'm good at my job.
No, and there's also a little bit of the Kansas, if I claim to be a wise man, that surely means that I don't know, from Carry On Wayward Son. If you go around saying that, everybody's like, yeah, we've seen this act before.
The idea of humility is something I actually want to get into as we talk about whether Pulisic's a jerk or Mbappe's a jerk or Thierry is a jerk. Thierry, excuse me. But the idea that you would dap somebody, Benetti, when you do a post-game handshake, is it a formal handshake with a briefcase, or do you dap them up?
No, I'm basically like Mr. Monopoly. When I'm doing a post-game handshake, I have full coat and tails. I doff my cap, and I kind of play around with the sides of my mustache. Yeah, and then I say, good day, fella.
Is it professional? Is this professional? Let's play the video for Benetti here and ask if it is professional to Jeremy, take us through what happened here.
Jacob Marcy hit a walk-off. He's been struggling throughout the year. OPS just a tick over 600, and after that game, emotions were high for everybody. I did the post-game interview, and at the end of it, there's just a little dap.
So it's what I saw. It's the kind of faux individualized handshake thing, right? That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. My feeling is I'm fine with a bump, a hey, thanks for doing this. But there was a little bit of we're closing in on personal handshake between you two. There's a little extra bro in it for me. And I might or might not be saying this to create controversy, but I'm happy to do it. I just think there was a little bit of a pull at the end there. If we can go ahead and Zapruder this thing, there was just a little bit extra that suggests
you were pulling him toward you. Yeah.
We're developing an individual handshake, and I don't know that I'd want that per se.
As we dissect this more, you see here, Jeremy kind of just holds out his hand for a handshake.
That's right.
And he takes it to what it becomes. So I'm actually, the more I see this, I'm more on Jeremy's side.
What I think, there's almost we struck a deal on a tract of land here too, a squeeze. There's a little bit of an affirming of a contract squeeze there too, which I wonder what you purchased or what he purchased, but there is that there.
You know about that landman, Dan?
Hey, wait a minute. So you've got this as a transaction of real estate in the late 1800s, or is this a recent land transaction?
No, I think all property dates all the way back as far as you can go. So I think it's Revolutionary War period transaction.
So this is your bond. This is my handshake is my bond. We are going into partnership, and this stands as a contract if we go to court.
That's right. There was no notary around, and nobody had a seal that they could stamp it with, and nobody could singe their insignia into the contract. So this is what we had.
This Gen Z predator meme. I don't like it one bit.
I have to salute the video team for doing the investigative work here that really shames Jeremy in a way that is profound. This is as unprofessional a thing as I have seen done in journalism now that it's been hyperanalyzed this way.
I don't know that it's unprofessional if in fact they were completing a transaction. I think this is definitely within the bounds of what you would do. I am a little sympathetic to if I stick out my hand, I am at the mercy of what the other person is going to do with it. So I am sympathetic to that. If Jeremy went in for the individualized handshake, I would have a problem with that. I don't know that there's intent here.
I keep thinking of the Greg Cody story on Bourbon Street where Ray Lewis is wearing a full mink and he goes to shake hands and bro shrug Greg Cody. And Greg Cody got twisted around and ended up with his back in Ray Lewis's fur. Like he got twisted around as if it were a dance because he didn't know how to shake hands correctly. Here is the meme that we were talking about because I don't think most people know this, Mike. The Schwarzenegger, the idea that all of those guys on that set were doing steroids and Carl Weathers was also like just hugely buff and that scene was like 10 seconds long of just their muscular arms shaking hands.
2 governors came from this film. Sonny Landham ran for governor.
Do you think most people know what we're talking about there with that scene that lasted?
Yeah, it's iconic. It's become a meme. Most people now just probably know it from the meme.
Yeah. I feel like, though, this reminds me of, didn't you pull the same move with Josh Norman?
Oh, no. You guys are going to show the security footage from the Clevelander? Yeah, I think I did. Well, no, I just went in. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, turn it off.
He like pulls him closer, like come to me.
Oh, that's brutal.
They're rocking back and forth.
I think that's against my privacy. That surveillance footage. I don't know how you guys got that.
You should sue.
I should sue. I should sue. Benetti,
Can I real quick? Can I double back to the Greg Cody thing? Did he spin into the coat as though he was turning into Cinderella? Like, you know how, like, when Cinderella goes from, local mop girl to princess, right? There are sparkles and there's a spin, right? And you become some version of an upper crust person by virtue of that spin. Is that what happened to Cody?
Local mop girl? You had put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Was Cinderella once a local mop girl? I think this is as smearing as Benetti has ever been, as indelicate as he's ever been. I want to get to a conversation with you, Jason, about we were having it before you came on about the idea of what's better exercise, walking in a straight line or walking downstairs.
Oh, walking downstairs for sure. There's more of the body being used in walking downstairs, I think. However, as you can see in my physique, physical strain isn't a major part of my day as 24 hours elapse. So I would say for me, stairs, I feel is more taxing, but a straight line sometimes can be very difficult for me as well. It's actually something that I've always worried about. Have we ever had a discussion about like me getting pulled over after having half a beer?
No.
So I don't walk like everybody else walks. I walk with a limp and my eye drifts and everything. I've always been afraid of being pulled over after any drink of anything because the first test they give you is walk in a straight line, not happening. The second test is they go like this. They're like, follow my finger. And I'm going to C+ maybe chance at that. We need to have less physically stringent tests for DUIs.
All right,
in my opinion, like they should carry a Rubik's Cube.
I am panicking about the backwards alphabet thing.
But then he wants the breathalyzer to be, okay, announce a Major League Baseball game.
Bro, I can do that. I can do that right now.
You do that drunk regularly.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is the DUI test too physically strenuous? I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that before.
The drifty eye.
Yeah, it's not fair if you have a drifty eye.
It's not fair.
I can't do either of those. I can't do either of those sober. So they're just going to be like, sir, we know what's going on here, right? The breathalyzer they'll look at the breathalyzer and go, this thing's got to be broken, right? If I have 0 drinks and get pulled over at 1 a.m, I'm going to prison.
So you had half a beer? Did you indeed get pulled over after half a beer?
No. My fear has always been if I'm driving to a college game or something at 1 a.m. and I haven't even had a drink, right? That's why I won't have 1 sip of alcohol before getting behind a wheel. Ever, never have, won't do it. Even if I have 0, I am failing the test.
Take a step. We were talking earlier about whether Pete Fairbanks, Jeremy has proclaimed, he has announced to the national audience, because the Marlins are for real, they're a good baseball team, and now some of their pitchers are getting healthy, that Fairbanks has taken a step. Not a leap, not a giant leap, but he has turned a corner, excuse me.
That's
said,
right.
I and Chris wondered whether he had taken a step. Are there other things on this hierarchy before taking a step or taking a leap or taking a giant leap or turning a corner? What else can go on this hierarchy?
Oh, that's a good one. I got to think about that though, because that, the first step of it is showing up to camp in the best shape of your life, right? You can't take a step or turn a corner without showing up to camp in the best shape of your life.
That's ground zero. That you begin this entire hierarchy with spring training and how you arrive at spring training.
Unquestionably. And then there's the step of, sometimes vocalized, figuring something out, right? Usually you've started with a tweak, then you've figured something out, then you turn the corner, then you take a step.
Wait a minute.
I think that's kind of how it goes.
Well, wait a minute. So between figuring it out, figuring something out, isn't somewhere there some adjustments, or are you saying tweaks? Tweaks and adjustments
I think
are synonyms.
making an adjustment, tweaking something, and then at some point there's the aha moment, because everybody's got to be Malcolm Gladwell, where it clicks, right? Usually we find out it clicked after we've seen the corner turned or the step taken, but it has to click at some point.
Well, that's at the end though, right? Is that at the top of the hierarchy? Because that's once you've made a giant leap, it's clicked, correct?
Right, but I do think it's usually retroactive. We usually place the date of it clicking at the beginning of the corner that was turned, once we go back and see that they were on a hot 10-day stretch, because then you go ask somebody like, hey, what's going on? You've been hot. And they're like, oh, I was in Milwaukee and something just kind of clicked. But nothing ever clicks at the moment that it clicks, because nobody believes that it's clicked until there are results to prove the click.
Is that right? Does he have that accurate at the end? Like that it can't be click verified in the moment? You have to have the result in order for it to have clicked. You would not announce that it would click before it had clicked.
Where's my click?
Right. That's clickbait at that point.
Benetti, thank you for raising money for Greg Cody. You really tickled his narcissisms. You put in a real effort and then quickly forgot about it thereafter. Your Tigers had gone on a win streak, and you were supposed to do it every game in honor of us, but you forgot it about 3 innings later.
I didn't forget. I was looking. I ran out of stuff. There are a couple on there that are not going to get into a baseball broadcast, no matter how hard I shoehorn the crap out of them.
Actually, I'm remiss in not thanking you for squeezing in Bernie Parmalee. We alleged that was the hardest one on the entire list to do. It didn't even make any sense. You honored us greatly when you threw in Bernie Parmalee, because I don't know how you did it. It made no sense.
Well, it's because I grew up in the 90s and I had some understanding of why the phrase had happened. I will tell you, though, that even though I didn't say it, I had an umpire tell me a couple weeks ago that Anthony Rizzo, who does some of these NBC games with us on Sunday night, went up to him and said at first base when Anthony was playing, he said, where do you buy these clickers? Like, does everybody have a clicker, meaning the ball strike counter? And the umpire said, they're called indicators, Anthony. To which Rizzo yelled to the rest of his infield mates, hey guys, they're called indicators during the game. Then there was an issue with the count in the game that night. So I say to Rizzo, hey, what are those called? And he had forgotten the story. So I retold him the story. And all I was thinking of was the phrase, where's my click click? As I'm telling that story, because that was my way into that phrase, was the umpire clicker. And I thought, get out of my skull, all of you people.
People were like, it's the same kind of thing like in 1992. You're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee?
Amazing.
It is amazing. I don't understand how he did it. There are any number of serious baseball things that we've run out of time to talk to him about. So, Verlander, is there ever going to be anything like that again, or has baseball changed too much?
I don't think so, especially with just the demand that he placed on himself to eat up innings. Even one of the things he said yesterday in his press conference, like, even when I wasn't pitching well, I ate up innings for other guys. I don't know that there's that level of competitive selflessness while also being selfish about your own stuff. I don't know that anybody's going to aspire to that amount of time and that amount of innings anymore, because aspirations have changed from go with anybody's young baseball career. So it's the way that players are being reared more than anything. But I also love that he really wants to pitch on a good team still. I don't think there's going to be anything like that, because I think he's from a former era of growing up.
He has 266 wins right now. Very clearly, there's never going to be a 300-game winner ever again in Major League Baseball. Are there going to be 200-game winners?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I do think baseball tends to be cyclical. So when you say that there won't ever be a 300-game winner, that's probably true. But I do wonder, like, if you attach the DH to the pitcher's spot, the starting pitcher spot, will teams force themselves to eat more innings with starting pitchers? Will baseball somehow evolve once again to get starting pitchers more innings in the future? I just think with the way they're tinkering with the rules, I wouldn't want to foreclose anything.
I would think it would work the other way, that the next evolution or invention in baseball is going to be, we're going to go all relievers. We're going to just go all relievers and no starters.
That could be the next step. And then I think when that either craters or doesn't work for certain teams, somebody's going to whipsaw back and see a possible gap in the marketplace again. It's like the Marlins and Rockies calling pitches from the dugout, right? Like, a couple of teams do it, they like it or they don't like it. Other teams say that's stupid, or we love that, or why didn't we think of it? It opens the door, but it also creates a schism, and people like to be on both sides of a schism. That's one of my hardline beliefs about humanity, is people like to be on both sides of a schism.
Where are you? It happened again yesterday, 6 innings of a perfect game. Where are you on the organizational handling of pitchers that makes it so a perfect game, 90 pitches in, 7 innings, and you're pulling your pitcher because we're doing load management and this is coming down from on high? The front offices are telling the manager what he has to do here.
Well, I think perfect games are fun, and we should aspire to do them. I like them. We should do it. Yes, have a hard and fast rule about how many pitches and whatever you want to do. If a guy's perfect through 6 and can be in baseball lore, I think you should let him go. I am all for let him go until he gives up a base runner. And if you think he's going to get that tired, right, or whatever is going to happen, nobody knows when somebody's going to blow out. Right? So let him go until he gives up a base runner. If he's going to get that tired, he's going to walk somebody. He's going to give up a hit. Something's going to happen. I would like pitchers to stay in for that. And I'm not the old school person. As a fan, I really like seeing people pursue that.
Good seeing you, Jason. Thank you for making the time for us. Thank you for always being around
Jason.
for us. A legend. Look at that. A legend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Jeremy, congratulations on your purchase.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Coming up this Friday on Mystery Crate, we have Zaz's old ass story. We got an ass story from me. We are tiering months. We are putting all the months in tiers. Which ones are good? Which ones are bad? A lot more on the show, Tony.
We also have the top 5 reasons why Jeremy is more Republican than he thinks.
Oh, it's a great list.
Which is also a great list. And me and Jess, and what would you say of Lehman? Like a hand of Lehman.
We get fisted by Lehman.
Wow. Old wooden ships.
Yes.
San Diego. Old wooden ships in the New York Harbor. A lot of great stuff on Mystery Crate.
On the way out, Rose, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
22.
What did you do that for?
God. Well, she misses them on the show. Check it out.
Pitch Clock coming at you on Thursday on the Dan Le Batard Show. And, of course, you can always watch it on the YouTube playlist for the Pitch Clock on the Le Batard Show YouTube page. We've got another competitive trivia game between Chris and myself. We're starting to see some distance being created within our trivia matchup, so see if I'm able to take another one home or if Chris will be able to come out the victor. But most importantly, it's the end of the first half of Major League Baseball. We've got Adnan Virk, our most consistent guest, here to give out first half awards. MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Executive of the Year, Manager of the Year. He also tells us his most entertaining teams and predicts what the World Series is going to look like. We've got all of that and more on the Pitch Clock. Be sure to tune in.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's a good look for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary also.
I don't like... This isn't again, I might need a mean here. This isn't kayfabe. Kayfabe?
Kayfabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
Kayfabe,
Thank
wrestling
you.
nerd here at your service.
This isn't.
Zaz could have
Thanks,
helped
Mike Ryan. This isn't kayfabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers.
Are you ready to do your catchphrases? I heard there's some controversy around the. It's the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He is counting down his top 50 catchphrases of all time. It has been a successful months-long joke. What is the controversy surrounding your catchphrase list? What is the issue?
It's big. The controversy is that based on quality demand, the catchphrase countdown has suddenly increased from a top 50 to a top 60.
What?
That's
What?
right. And it's controversial.
Of course it is. You told us it was a top 50, and we told you it was something you were making up as you went along, and that you weren't going to get the numbers right, and now you just changed
He
it.
botched it to such a degree that there are so many good ones left that we're just pushing all
I
the
knew
current
that was
ones
going to
back.
happen, though. That's exactly what we were saying.
Your brain beating me.
How did this happen? What was the ruling? What did the committee get together and decide? How did it happen that it got expanded? Now, no one's going to complain about this because more catchphrases is great, but we told you this was going to happen, and we told you this was a sloppy list by you.
The others, they all learn from me.
Yeah, right.
No, I looked at all the catchphrases remaining, and there was only 14 left, but there were like 20-something good ones. So I'm like,
thank you.
Let's go.
Wait a minute. So how did you do it though? Are there now is there now a new list 50 to 60 or
No,
what are you doing?
everything that's been said is just like what was 50 is now 60.
Yes.
There were
Wow.
14 left, and now there's 24
So we're
left.
not in the top 20
No,
anymore?
now we're at 23
we were
and
in the top
24.
20 of the countdown, and now we're at 24?
I'm telling you, they're bangers, though. There are just bangers
There
left.
is nobody that's actually upset about this development. Come on.
You've got to honor the list, though.
I'm telling you, I got a peek. I don't know the exact order, but I got a peek of what the top 10 looks like, and it is just banger after banger.
Yeah, Yeti hated it. He's against it.
Yeti thinks that we should just make him live with the world he gave
You
us.
should.
Like,
I mean, I
there's-
asked you several times throughout this whole process. Have you thought this out? Have you planned out the list? You know that there are 50. You kept assuring me that you have it all under control.
Driver comfort is paramount.
You're wrong. You know, part of the beauty of me is a bit of serendipity, a bit of
You're the kind of guy.
unpredictability. And so the same is true with this list. Okay, whenever you do a countdown, Zaz, bank this information for your future. Whenever you do any sort of a countdown, controversy is good. You want somebody to say, that sucks, that should be lower, or that's, wow, I can't believe that's not higher.
So wait, so what used to be 50 is now 60.
Yes.
So we've gotten fraudulent rankings up to now. All the numerical rankings we've gotten up to now are all wrong.
He can give you the updated, like number 60, he can give you the update of whatever.
I know, but they're all, every previous incarnation of this that we have given
That's
the
right.
American public and internationally has been wrong.
I would say adjusted more than wrong.
Adjusted.
Maybe to Greg's credit, too, I've never heard of a top 60.
Thank you.
Well, how do we know it's not going to end up being 62 because he's going to think of two more on his way home because he didn't plan any of this
It
out?
would never be 62. It could bump to 65. It would never be a number like 62.
We would obviously go in fives, Dan.
Here's also the thing. This is a big question of mine. So you have left 10 out, which is why you are expanding it from 50 to 60. But the 10 that you left out are automatically like they're in
They're
the
top
top
24.
23. You're saying top 24.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he left bangers out.
Right.
This had to be done, guys.
Yeah, it had to be done, like he says.
Again, it doesn't have to be done if you're dealing with a responsible person who plans it
That's
at the
true.
beginning, as opposed to just making everything up as he goes along.
No, listen, and we're in the sports business. We should know this better than anybody. Rankings always change. When I was born, everybody agreed Babe Ruth, greatest player ever. Not so much now. Rankings
That was when I was
change.
growing up. It was a hot debate. Everyone agreed, though. Babe Ruth, that young kid's got a future.
It was an argument back then on sports radio. Tris Speaker or Babe
Yeah,
Ruth?
that's right. Lou Gehrig was in play.
Is
as well.
Telegram in? Your thoughts?
I have to go back to Chris Cody here because I'm not sure that I knew this. I have to go back. So you're married to an identical twin.
That's right.
Okay, I have questions.
Go on.
First,
not too many questions.
Well, I know your father's sitting right next to me. It's a little weird. Okay, so first question.
No wonder they're into swinging at that house.
Were you always able to tell them apart?
Not at the beginning when we were just dating. Her sister has like a beauty mark on her face, so I was like, mine's the one without that.
Okay. My next question is, a lot of times, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you think my sister's attractive, don't you? You clearly think her sister's attractive.
That's right. Undeniable.
If you think your wife's hot, you think her sister is hot.
My sister-in-law's hot.
That's
There, I said
crazy,
it.
right?
I've never said that to her before.
No, you got to say that, though.
Well, you must think she's hot.
But Zaz, here's the deal. Everyone with a hot sister-in-law thinks their sister-in-law is hot. He's the only one who's allowed to say it out loud. That's the difference.
That's true. That's true.
Not like the rest of us are like, oh, my sister-in-law is terrible. Like, if you got a hot one, you're like, oh, my God, she's hot, but you just can't say it out loud.
Yeah. And are they actually different?
They're very similar in a lot of ways.
So how'd you choose?
The other one was taken.
Papa Cody, wait a second now. You experienced this. I mean, do you find one more charming than the other?
At the very beginning, I too had difficulty telling them apart.
But do you like, now that you've gotten to know, presumably both of them pretty well, do you think that your boy made the right choice between the two?
I have to say that. I mean, of course he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course he did.
Now.
I love my daughter-in-law, but they're eerily alike.
Now,
not just physically.
What I'm about to admit now is a little embarrassing.
Go on.
There are times, in marriage, you're going through,
We know.
you're like, it's just, this is
I don't like where this is headed.
I don't either.
Where sometimes you just like, if you're trying to keep things fresh, you just imagine it's the other person.
Oh, no.
That's an unbelievable admission.
That
What's the matter with you, man?
I didn't hear
Suey. Hey, guys in the room outside, mark that down.
For
Suey
the record,
revelation.
did everybody see as one of society's great empaths? Did you see me try to get in the way? Did you see me try to dive in front of that? He refused. Yeah. He went. He plowed straight ahead.
You guys never struggle, huh?
Your wife clearly does not listen to this show.
Sure doesn't.
What in hell? No worries
what
that
did
this
you
is getting
say?
back to her.
Tony, how you feel about that admission?
Not great. Yeah, not great. Even though, admittedly, Chris says that his wife doesn't watch the show, which is good, right?
Very
so he
good.
feels like he can shoot from the hip here and not really be taken to task, like Dave said. Very good. But the issue is, sometimes some things are so flammable and so big that they peer through the veil of Chris saying, "Oh no, my wife doesn't watch the show," where she's like, "You said what?"
Bigger than the show, man.
Bigger than the show.
Let's not clip this if we can.
That was an incredible admission.
It really
Greg,
was.
what did you make of all that?
A little bit unfortunate. I wish he hadn't said that. It could come back to haunt.
You guys never struggle.
Well, in the context of this show, you can always say, I was just kidding. Of course I was just kidding. But will she believe you?
I was.
Okay.
What is the
Vegas, don't miss UFC 329 this Saturday night. Join Tony and Lewis live from Stadium Swim at Circa as MMA Hangout covers Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway. Catch them at 8 Fremont Street or watch live on the Le Batard Show YouTube channel starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Vegas time. For every round, keep it fun and keep it Cuervo.
One of the reasons that I do therapy and one of the most elusive things that I have found unable to quite conquer in therapy is being more forgiving of myself. So I thought that I've evolved into an adulthood that at 57 I could drive home and shake off calling Max Holloway Max Holiday. But Thierry Henry, I can't forgive, and I'm just going to say the construction business. Like I'm just tired. I'm just tired, and I'm crawling around. And my apologies. The World Cup has ransacked me, and the people outside of my window have been singing until 3:00 in the morning every day, Backstreet Boys. And so I'm going to make some mistakes that are embarrassing to me, and I want to apologize eternally, and also just make an excuse. I am not an athlete. I'm not going to tell you I need to tough it out. I don't. Nope. I'm just tired, and that's why I'm bad.
Have you given any more thought to that no-show job I'm looking for?
You mentioned Thierry Henry, and a bit of polarizing dude. He had I thought he was really good after the Belgium match. And for those that follow his post-playing career, on Paramount Studios show for the Champions League, Thierry's a part of a really good ensemble, really relaxed, really fun, really recommended for anybody that's trying to get into club football, understanding that it's a different thing entirely from international football, which seems to be up the alley of the American. But Thierry on Fox has to play more of a straight man because you got Alexi doing his thing, and Zlatan is this huge personality. So Thierry's a little bit more of a straight man.
That's a tricky one, too, with Zlatan, because he's a giant personality, but he's doing the show in his second language, and that one can be tricky. They make it work, but they make it work at least because clearly it seems like those two guys don't totally respect Lawless.
He's a huge personality, Zlatan, but I find him to be very tame on this broadcast.
Yeah, he has really good comedic timing and good one-liners. You mentioned it's his second language. I don't think so. I think several languages, and that just to be that's one of them. Thierry's also doing it in his second language, but Thierry was really good here in this back and forth with Alexi Lawless. Let's go ahead and play it.
That should have been a decision that was done on the field, not after 3 days, 4 days. I didn't agree with that at all. So please do not get it right, because it's not right. Article 27 doesn't say that. No, and he fired up Belgium. Look at how they were, the celebration, the dancing at the end, and everything that was there. It wasn't right.
So Ronaldo shouldn't have played in the World Cup either, then?
I said no, don't you say whatever you want to say. I'm talking about the Balogun situation.
Hold on. What is not right about it?
That's my opinion. I don't think it was right.
I understand your opinion. I completely understand your opinion.
That's about it. That's where I stand.
But nobody broke any rules or regulations or laws, right?
That's what I believe. The red wasn't a red for Balogun. I said it. Right. I would say it again. The way it happened after, I didn't agree with it. That's about it.
So the right decision was come to the wrong way also when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's on you to talk, if you want to talk. I'm talking about Balogun. This is the World Cup.
I would have had to turn it off. Like, that's where I get the secondhand embarrassment. I wouldn't have been able to sit through it. I would have had to turn it off or run out the room.
Alexi's trying to make compelling television there. It's weird. He says, I understand where you're coming from, but why the issue with it? He's saying both things there. That is world-class stuff from Thierry to not get sucked into a straw man and a false equivalency that Alexi's trying to build up when comparing, rightly so, Ronaldo and Otamendi. They had some reds wiped away because they wanted a fair, level playing field for the tournament. They also wanted the biggest stars there. This is different. This is something that happened within the World Cup finals. There was no precedent for something quite like this. To invoke Cristiano Ronaldo, even though it can be a guide, is a false equivalency. And Thierry handled that so well, I think because he's French and because he's not this electric personality on that show and because he's being critical of something that went the U.S.'s way. Because, look, the corruption was working out for us. We were all happy with Balogun there. But it very clearly, and Thierry's been a part of that Belgian staff before, I should say, clearly fired them up. Knowing the result now and seeing the Trump dance twice, the second time because they thought we missed it, it fired them up. And I do think that calling out the way that it went about is good television and is probably the right take. Really well done. I'm for a studio team that was just thrown together, that had never worked together before, they've had their growing pains, but there are some times where it's on, and I like how they dunk all over Alexi.
There's clearly tension there. It's been documented throughout this entire tournament. But I think at this point, this has been a good, everyone wants to, like you say, dunk on Alexi Lawless. Alexi Lawless has clearly done an excellent job here, because otherwise, if it wasn't him, we wouldn't be talking about this broadcast at all. Like, we're talking about this broadcast on a daily basis.
But rare. Look, guys, this is unbelievably rare, okay? These are all monster egos that are on that set. These are divas of the highest order who get formed by whatever sports fame does to people.
Zlatan?
They're all stars. And
Zlatan has an ego?
No, but hold on. The next step on this, though, do you know how rare it is for stars to share a stage and two of them don't respect the other guy, and for it to be obvious as you're watching television that two guys are up there saying, hey, you're not in our class. Why do you talk like as if you're in our class?
Everyone's been super critical of Alexi this World Cup, and I'm like, man, they finally got Alexi right. I think in so many previous incarnations of the World Cup, people were always so deferential to Alexi. Alexi's been doing television media for a very long time, and we know what we get with Alexi. He is a huge homer and wears it proudly. He has never been so far outclassed in terms of playing career, and with a personality like Zlatan that is comfortable in saying when they're talking about Vinny taking the penalty kick, Thierry liked taking it, I like taking it, Alexi was never asked.
No, well, that's funny. I mean, like,
but that's crazy. It's a crazy amount of disrespect to hit on punctuation at the end of a joke. Alexi Lalas is there to sort of be court jester Ronald McDonald, Skip Bayless. Like, he's there to be there, the ingredient that sort of makes Zlatan and Henry
and Thierry Henry. It's a construction business. No, I don't even know if that was the design, Chris, but like this is the best use of Alexi, where you treat him kind of like a joke. And Alexi is going with it, by the way, playing up to it. Alexi's doing a great job, as you mentioned. He's like basically the Miz. He's making other guys look good in the ring.
Zlatan has his top 10 players of the tournament, and he's always at number 1.
That's awesome.
The king of the jungle, and he's number 1, and then it's the rest.
I don't. The part that I don't like, though, is like they can crack jokes on him. Heck, it's one of our favorite things about Inside the NBA, where they crack jokes like that. You never took a penalty. They'll dunk on Barkley like that all the time. It's good. It makes for good television. It's playful. But it's not tired to you, the whole, you don't get to talk like that, we were so much better than you are? Like that argument's tired.
It's not tired on American World Cup coverage. This is a refreshingly new spin on what was a tired act for many in Alexi Lalas. He gets crushed. And for the first time ever on the set, the people on the set are doing the crushing. But usually that's just farmed out to the internet. I find it refreshing, and Alexi actually seems pretty down for this new role.
But that doesn't mean, just because Thierry Henry and Zlatan are obviously much better players than Alexi Lalas was, that doesn't mean they know more about the game than he does.
But Zaz, let's just do it this way, okay? Because this is why it works and it's why it's great, okay? Because you have two legends there, even though I keep getting one of their names wrong. You have two legends on the set there. It's a bit of a stunner that it's not Zlatan's name that I'm getting wrong. The idea that two of the people are on television, on a big studio show being watched by that many people at a time when the broadcasts are making the voices really resonate and get paid. When are all the other times in American broadcast history that you can tell that the people don't respect another one of their colleagues on the set while they're doing that? However, Inside the NBA does it, you never think those guys don't like each other. Even when Shaq and Barkley are going back and forth at each other, you know, oh, those people actually love each other. These don't. And the two guys don't actually respect everything Lalas is. They don't respect American soccer. I don't know if they respect the United States if we allow that clown to be one of our hood ornaments. Like, the whole America thing might elude them, except Zlatan likes LA a lot. Like, he likes the idea of, I'll take that little corner of America. They understand my confidence and beauty there.
Should be noted, as you mentioned, LA, huge stars in MLS. That's their tether to the United States. Thierry Henry famously loved New York. It's why he wanted to play there. He's got a street named after him in New York. He had an illustrious career with the New York Red Bulls. So these guys love America. They're not fish out of water. They have their tethers to this. They're well familiar with Alexi Lalas' game. They just haven't had the opportunity to work with him in this fashion, and I do think it's the jobber in the wrestling ring that's helping put the other guy over. This is a new take, a new spin on using Alexei the right way. I've actually enjoyed Alexei's takes more because I'm like, yeah, get him. Yeah, go. Like, that's ridiculous. How dare he speak this way? You're Zlatan. You had one of the greatest goals of all time. You're a prolific goal scorer. This is nuts. You're having to lay out for Alexei Lawless. Get his ass. I love it.
A 40 yards from the goal bicycle kick. Those are hard to do.
Pretty hard to do. You mentioned a top 10 list. Chris, I got a top 5 list. Players at this World Cup that have impressed me the most. All right, guys, that's not the best players. It's the players that have impressed me the most.
You personally the most.
Yes. OLI. The goalkeeper for Paraguay, Orlando Gil. He's been tremendous. It was tremendous. Being at Philadelphia and seeing his back and forth, I'm not sure all the cameras caught it with Mbappe. That got really feisty. He was incredible in the penalty shootout. He was great against Germany. He had such a disastrous start to this World Cup. His ability to rebound and keep Paraguay in these matches in which they were outmatched, he's made himself a lot of money.
You remember when we scored 4 goals on him?
Yeah. He made us forget it with one of the all-time upsets in the history of the World Cup. Another goalkeeper here. You know I fancy the keepers. Gregor Kobel. I was a big Jan Sommer guy for Switzerland. Undersized. I thought if Jan Sommer was taller, he'd be recognized as the best in the world. This guy's made me forget about one of my favorite keepers over for Switzerland. He's been spectacular lately. And another team that came out of the gates looking lackluster against Qatar, and he's been amazing since.
Who was that? Stop doing that.
Gregor Kobel for Switzerland. All right. My second favorite player. A lot of conversation about a soon-to-be 19-year-old on Spain.
Wait a minute. Second favorite player. That's different than impressed me personally.
Well, my second, this is OLI. But I love this player in this tournament. I haven't watched a lot of La Liga this past year, and I wasn't really familiar with this dude's game. If you want some long shot odds on the DraftKings Sports app, young player of the tournament, while all the attention on Spain goes to another soon-to-be 19-year-old in Lamine Yamal. He's not the best 19-year-old on that roster so far this tournament. You mentioned how Spain hasn't conceded a goal. That's because Pau Cubarsí, the center back for España, has been a titan on that back line, and I think he can be young player of the tournament while everyone was looking for the spectacular attackers. All right, here we go. Number 5. Harry Kane. Whoa, Mike, he's a superstar. What could possibly impress you about what Harry Kane is doing? The work he is doing defensively.
Defense, yeah.
The space he is creating as an older player. I keep waiting for the bottom to fall out when it comes to Harry Kane, but he is taking the mantle of captain of England seriously. He is playing his ass off defensively. Very curious to see how he tracks back against Norway. So he is my 5th most impressive player.
You also like him because it sounds like Hurricane.
Yeah, rock you like a hurricane. Sir Harold of Kane. Number 4, Kylian Mbappe. He's going to blow away Messi's World Cup goal record wherever it lands.
It's pretty good, Zaz.
A good player.
Mbappe, now, doing a little bit more pressing, but famously doesn't like to defend. All right, if you're not going to defend, you better be dynamite in the attack. And he absolutely is. What I like so much, what is impressing me so much, is not just the blazing speed and the finishing ability, the edge he's playing with. There was a big racist controversy with a senator from Paraguay. He is playing with an edge, and I kind of like this attitude that Mbappe is playing with. And curious to see how it goes today against
Fueled by racism. Fueled by racism.
Well, if you're familiar with the global game. Now, today's an absolute cracker of a game between France and Morocco.
A cracker of a game?
Yeah, it's a great game. Morocco made it to the semis last year.
I'm with you, Zaz, on that. That's not the word he should have been using.
Number 3. This may surprise you. Leo Messi.
You got 2 more impressive than...
He's been impressive.
Yeah, well, yeah.
To me, now, you're not going to get much defensively, and he has scored in 6 straight knockout matches. That's unbelievable. He's carrying his team in the attack. The whole thing is built around him. Never going to give you something defensively, which is why he's only a number 3 for me. But what's most impressive is he's 39 years old. right? His goal-scoring output and his goal contributions on the club side are as good as they've ever been. I know you may want to point to when he was playing with Xavi and Iniesta in Barcelona and say
I did want to point that out.
But that was a better version of Leo Messi. Guys, can we just call it out like we see it? Like, he's never been better for the national team.
That's crazy to say.
He's never been better and more effective for the national
crazy
team.
to say.
How do we know he's not going to play in 4 years again?
I don't think we can because he doesn't. He's playing right. He's mastered the game.
It's not just a mastery of the game, and I know you've got two more here, but the part that is the craziest about all of this to me, it's not that it's just happening that he's this old. It really wasn't that long ago. You guys were questioning whether he could win one of these things. Like, it was 5 years ago that you were telling me he was Ronaldo, and he's distanced himself from Ronaldo in the last 5 years in a way that is just insane.
There's no other way to describe what he's doing. It's pure insanity.
At the late stages of what should be his career being done, because you get too old, 34 to 39, he has separated himself as the best in the world and proven to us that it's laughable to think that he couldn't win a big game.
Mike wanted to see Cape Verde the other day, not Messi.
I maintain that. Cape Verde would have been an unbelievable story, but you can't tell me that watching that upset play out, that's a movie. So while I'm happy I saw Egypt, Argentina, and that performance from Messi, if I'm watching Cape Verde, that means that Cape Verde beat Argentina, that would have been crazy.
That is what it means.
Whoa, from The Athletic, Christian Pulisic suffered a bone bruise and a microfracture in his leg during the World Cup loss to Belgium. He will be sidelined for several weeks, but not months. Multiple people briefed on the diagnosis told The Athletic.
And of course, you think this discourse was going to take place over the last 48 hours and we weren't coming out with an injury?
Here's this is a statement. Let's go ahead and throw it up that, still looking for the media training. Christian Pulisic said, tough to find the words. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who believed. The support carried us all the way through. It simply wasn't good enough for us in the end, and I want to deliver so much more. I still feel blessed to be a part of this team. The memories of the summer will last a lifetime. You know what? I don't care what you have to say. And I didn't doubt that you were hurt. That's kind of your deal.
Just the start for us.
Yeah,
it's a nice little line.
It may not be the start for him. Honestly, he's got to earn his keep now. I didn't doubt that he got hurt. Christian gets hurt. Never once did I say he was fake. And asking out of the game, yeah, microfracture, that hurts. Some people could probably power through that. My main issue was the tone-deaf response from Christian Pulisic. Number 2 on my list, most impressive, Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland has been unbelievable. Obviously, we all know his attacking prowess. His top-end speed. The fact that he might be a Nordic alien, yes.
He should play
those
with
exist.
the actual Viking horns. Like, he should. The soccer ball should get lodged
I'd allow
on
it.
one. He's the only guy in the history of the sport I'd allow it with.
You could just be impressed with him, and he'd be worthy of a number 2 ranking just because of what he's doing with Norway, who actually have quite a few nice players around him that I think have earned themselves a lot of money here. But Erling Haaland also playing a way that's a little foreign to us, doing so much defensive work. I think he's cleared like 2 balls off the line in his own end. He has been unbelievable, and I cannot wait for this match that we have down here in Miami between Norway and my number 1 most impressive player of the World Cup tournament, Jude Bellingham.
No.
Jude Bellingham has been unbelievable. Yeah, he's not scoring at the same clip that some of the other guys that I've mentioned are, but in terms of distribution and defensive work, this dude is working his tail off, defending like N'Golo Kante when no one expected that of him. Jude Bellingham has totally bounced back in this tournament. He is on a yellow. And if you're one of those people that subscribe to the big, great controversy surrounding Argentina and does FIFA do them favors, the one thing that you should be watching is, does Jude get a yellow against Norway that wouldn't allow him to play Argentina in the very next round? Everybody's worried about that. You can take action on whether or not he gets a yellow card, and that impacts the next round. It also impacts your mentality when you're affecting the game defensively as he is, already being on a yellow. To play that type of defense on a yellow where you have to be more careful, I am just blown away by Jude. He is what was promised. I cannot wait for this matchup against Erling Haaland. They were teammates at Borussia Dortmund, and they were really fun together. I cannot wait.
Zaz, I need a ruling from a judge here.
Okay.
Does any World Cup list of people that you're impressed by stink if it doesn't have Cape Verde's goalie?
All rise. The Honorable Jonathan Zaslow now presiding with
if
prejudice.
your list has 7 nominees of Who Impressed You, and you decide to go off the board, you can't, I don't think, omit the story of the tournament that he preferred to be in Atlanta than Lionel Messi.
I understand the case that is presented to me. Mike Ryan makes a list, not just top 5, but OLI as well, and no Vazinha on the list. When Vazinha went from 40-something thousand followers on Instagram to over 20 million now.
But not impressive to Mike. Not impressive enough to Mike to crack his top 7.
I saw one of his eyeballs. I think he has cataracts. And he's not on Mike's list.
He's 40.
Mike Ryan, you are guilty.
Thank you.
With prejudice.
Not even my most egregious mistake there. Regrettably, I should have made Zlatan number 1.
Hercules Gomez says on First Take, I think what Christian Pulisic is going through right now, he's being used as the scapegoat for this failed World Cup. Yeah, pretty much. And the funny thing about it is people are so frustrated that you come out and you're going to be injured. And if it had been weeks, if it had been months, if the report had been he suffered a career-ending injury, the reaction today, people are angry enough, would still be, yeah, you're always getting hurt. You should have played. You should have swung your leg around, broken it off, and just swung it and made them change the rules about whether or not you'd used your hands or not because you were swinging your broken leg around to try and score a goal or get a shot on goal instead of getting the ball stolen from you. There's literally no explanation that will be met with anything other than shut up. Shut up. You failed us. You're the reason that America lost.
I don't think anyone has said that he's the reason, but this is the life.
Ooh.
That he is the reason they lost.
No, I think it's just we expected more from him. Everyone was bad against Belgium.
I got First Take on mute in here. Stephen A is on vacation,
What
so
do you
they've
say?
talked a lot about U.S. soccer, and the lower third has often said Christian Pulisic in particular. I knew we'd see a statement that he got hurt. Again, no one doubted that he got hurt. He gets hurt. But he's one of the few people that doesn't really stand and gain much by that release because everyone's reaction is, of course you get hurt.
Yeah, but that's
of
crazy.
Course you do.
This is something we talk about all the time around here. And I believe that your standard is a little bit inhumane in general when it comes to talking about bodies being broken because your standard is hockey's. It's not even football's. It's everyone has to play no matter if you're just nothing but a torso. It doesn't matter what kind of condition your body is in or what the future injury is. But if any of us were enduring right now what Pulisic's last 36 hours have been, and we actually had a microfracture, all of us would want the compassion from the American people that would come with, oh, it wasn't that you're mentally frail or weak or bad at soccer. It's that you had a fracture in the leg. We'd all crave the compassion in that.
Oh, I appreciate the complete 180 that you've done on Christian Pulisic and having empathy for him. Now, I know you guys are new to this Christian Pulisic game. I've been making excuses for him for a decade. I have shown plenty of compassion for his injuries and his plight for a decade. It was all about this World Cup. It was all about him being better when he was healthy. Really unfortunate he got hurt. He was trashed before he got hurt in that match. We didn't do anything. And yeah, are other people skating? Yeah, Pochettino in particular.
Really?
Pochettino especially. That guy's a career loser. How do you take all that momentum, become the winningest manager in U.S. World Cup history, and have a team come out that flat, play that uninspired? Belgium's manager was a joke until like 5 minutes left against Senegal. He found a way to rally his troops. They played above and beyond. They found the motivation. What did Pochettino's guys do? Give you one of the more listless performances in U.S. soccer history? Think you have to track back to a Copa America against Argentina where you felt like you didn't have that much of a shot.
I'm trying to think what hacky wordplay First Take would do for a Pulisic segment, like pull us sick of the excuses.
Anti-Christian.
Okay.
I think Disney would avoid that one. Probably go with Chris Cody's.
Pull us sick of the excuses.
Would they?
The excuses, this one, look, I don't know what to do with this. I really don't. When are excuses explanations and when are explanations excuses? Like Zaslow, if I just did it just a second ago, Thierry Henry, construction business, an excuse. I'm making an excuse for, it's not that I'm bad. It's not that I stink. It's not that I'm bad at my job, the very opposite of what Jeremy is at his job. It's that I've got an excuse at the ready because I don't want it to be just I suck. If you had a microfracture of the leg, I'm not actually trying to get compassion or empathy here I'm just asking you guys to literally put yourself in his cleats. He is the scapegoat for American soccer. People in soccer are talking about the strategy and the building of the team, but everyone who's Johnny-come-lately is looking at, our big star, the one name that I knew, that guy didn't do anything, and he got the ball stolen from him, and he checked out of the game, and all the other U.S. stars, men and women, are crushing him from every angle, and the news stream is 36 hours of, you suck, it's your fault, this is the reason that this happened. We're mad, America's mad at you, mad at sports, this is what we care about, you're the worst. And you had a microfracture. Wouldn't you want to explain yourself and not have it dismissed as an excuse?
It was 3-1 when he got subbed out. Okay? That explains why he was subbed out. It doesn't explain why it was 3-1. It doesn't explain why he was dispossessed 11 times. It doesn't explain why he was terrible prior to that injury. All it does is explain why he asked out of the game.
P-O-O-Lissick.
Wow. That's pretty good. That's if you want to elevate the ratings, get even a little bit dirtier. The story I brought up before, Zaz, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get to it, because we've got one of the rarest things that you ever find in sports. You've got a notoriously cheapskate owner who wins. I mean, it took Dolan forever to win, but Tom Dundon just won the Stanley Cup because the Panthers didn't play in it.
That's right.
It should have an asterisk on everything. The franchise, he should wear an asterisk on his forehead because that championship doesn't count because the Panthers were injured. But he's notoriously cheap in a way that billionaires usually don't get. It's crazy, actually, to think. He's also purchased the Portland Trailblazers now. And the Stanley Cup trophy, you can see there, his name and his family's name is all over that trophy. The very top row is just Dundon family. Well, who are those people?
Top 2 rows, Dan.
The top 2 rows ahead of everyone else, all the other champions on that trophy. The first name's on there. It's not even hidden. You can't even throw it in the middle somewhere. So do you guys think people wouldn't have noticed if it was just sprinkled around, if there were Dundons all over the place?
Slipping them in?
But yeah.
I don't think they can. I think it goes like ownership, front office, players.
But
I don't think you can change the order.
Those aren't all. That's not all ownership. How many Dundons is that? They don't all work for the team. Who are those people?
It looks like there's 7 Dundons that are on the Stanley Cup.
I think I see 8. Is it 8?
I think it's
you got
7.
it right. 7. I'm sorry. Veronica, that's a long name there. There's some long names
That's
on the top row.
Veroshka.
Jeff Daniels plays for the
It's 7 members of the Dundon family taking up the top 2 lines of the cup. And let me also add for some context here, you don't get to put everyone that you want on the cup. There is a certain number of names that you are allowed to include, and not everyone in the organization who feels like they played a role in winning the Stanley Cup is there enough room for their name to be on the cup. And so for the Dundon family to have 7 names taking up the top 2 lines, when apparently, Dan, one of the names is a kid who is currently in kindergarten.
I was going to say, that has to be Dax.
Got to be Dax.
Like, get the hell out of here. That trophy, it's a disgrace what you're doing to that trophy. It's the greatest trophy in all of sports. There is so much prestige and respect around this trophy, and you're filling the top 2 lines with family members, including children. That is a disgrace.
Dax works hard.
I think Dax should be made to earn that trophy. You want kid?
Gotta want to earn.
Kid, you want your name on the trophy? Here's what it takes. And then hit him in the mouth.
You know, if you're ownership, everybody a part of that organization gets a day with the cup. There's a cup going on Dax's day. Chuck E. Cheese.
He's going
petting
in
zoo.
the cup. He's going in the cup. He's the only person on there who he fits in the cup. Zaz, this trophy is said to be the hardest to earn. We just got done telling you that Mike's standard for lack of humanity with his athletes. is if they're willing to give up their own body, the way the Kachucks have it written into the family manifestos, where you give up everything. So even if it's just your nose playing, it better score twice and get 3 penalties, even if it's just your nose. These people, that standard is not my standard. I don't think it's the standard for pain that anyone in our audience has. But if I tell you Pulisic's been bad for long before this World Cup, he hasn't scored a goal. Mike, how long has it been since the guy scored a goal of any kind against reasonable competition?
In a competitive game, yeah, since December. In a non-friendly, since Shabuzi.
Entertain the hypothetical for me, Zaz, here. Just entertain the hypothetical. You're physically hurt in a way that makes you not be able to perform to the level expected of you because you're playing against people who appear to be healthier and also better. Would you or would you not use it as a, quote, explanation/excuse? Would you?
If I'm only going to miss a few weeks, like that statement said about Pulisic, I don't need to release that statement. If I'm going to be out 6 months, okay.
You're doing exactly what he's hoping for with this statement. Yes, garner sympathy and erase the fact that he was healthy. He himself said he was healthy. He looked good when he checked in against Turkey. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he looked good. He said he was fully fit and ready to go. We were down 3-1. He got hurt. What? I don't understand what we're doing. Yes, I feel bad that the narrative surrounding you asking out of the game was fixated on. I myself never doubted that you were hurt, but you weren't hurt to start that game. You allowed 3-1 to happen perfectly fit.
You guys aren't answering my question, though. Juju, please put it on the poll. Turkey A, I'm sorry. Sincere or insincere? Because that didn't sound sincere to me. Turkey A, I'm sorry. Just all one word, sincere or insincere. The question I asked you was, it's almost textbook definition empathy. If it were you, I'm asking you to make it you. You're the person who has undergone this. Would you think that it was an excuse or an explanation if it were you?
I think it's an excuse.
It's only an explanation for why he was subbed out.
Yeah.
But I'm not criticizing his performance after he got hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing that. I'm criticizing the performance that led up to his injury, where he was dispossessed 11 times, where he couldn't create anything really, where whenever the ball was at his feet, it went the other direction. That doesn't explain what happened there. That's just a garner sympathy that he's actively getting right now.
Thomas and Verushka have 5 kids. Dax, Caden, Drew, Blake, and Tegan. They're all on the trophy.
That's a disgrace to the Stanley Cup.
Those are some white names.
Dan, that's a disgrace to that cup. I don't like that. That's terrible.
Also, I pitched on a hairline fracture in high school. All right. I got hit with a line drive in my last game during senior night. Ended up rolling my ankle, walking around in a walking boot for a week, okay? All I could take was Advil. I didn't have Percocet. I didn't have anything, okay, that was necessary to feel good. I went out. I pitched at West Broward High School against West Broward. Guess what I did? 2-hit shutout. I'm good at everything.
Zaslow, I feel like if you were owner of a hockey team and won the Stanley Cup, you'd put your kids on the cup.
No, I would not, because I have more respect for the Stanley Cup than Tom Dundon.
Is there any other time in the American language that the verb is used as dispossessed? Is soccer the only place where dispossessed makes an appearance? Because Pulisic, the number that was most damning on him is he got the ball taken away from him 11 times in 45 minutes. It was more than anyone else on the field. And dispossessed as a verb is a funny way to just cut him across the stomach with a scalpel, and you don't even mean it.
Coming up this Friday on Mystery Crate, we have Zaz's old-ass story. We got an ass story from me. We are tiering months. We are putting all the months in tiers. Which ones are good? Which ones are bad? A lot more on the show, Tony.
We also have the top 5 reasons why Jeremy is more Republican than he thinks.
Oh, it's a great list.
Which is also a great list. And me and Jess, and what would you say of Lehman? Like a hand of Lehman.
We get fisted by Lehman.
Wow. Old wooden ships.
Yes.
San Diego. Old wooden ships in the New York Harbor. A lot of great stuff on Mystery Crate.
On the way out, Rose, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
22.
Oh, what did you do that for?
God. Well, she misses them on the show. Check it out.
Pitch Clock coming at you on Thursday on the Dan Le Batard Show. And, of course, you can always watch it on the YouTube playlist for the Pitch Clock on the Le Batard Show YouTube page. We've got another competitive trivia game between Chris and myself. We're starting to see some distance being created within our trivia matchup, so see if I'm able to take another one home or if Chris will be able to come out the victor. But most importantly, it's the end of the first half of Major League Baseball. We've got Adnan Virk, our most consistent guest, here to give out first half awards. MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Executive of the Year, Manager of the Year. He also tells us his most entertaining teams and predicts what the World Series is going to look like. We've got all of that and more on the Pitch Clock. Be sure to tune in.
What is the Nick Bobick?
It's a 60s song. The name game. Nick Bobick. Banana Bofick. Me, my Momick. Nick.
Rosanna, Rosanna, Rosanna,
I'm the kind of guy that Nick. Who made it the salad? Hey, Butterfinger. Who made it the salad? Nick Bobick. Who made it the salad? Georgia.
That's not correct.
Very good.
It's a parrot that says very good out of the side of its mouth.
That's correct.
What does this have to do with the name game?
I'm not going to take a quiz.
Rosanna,
Who made it the salad? Me, my Momick. Let's go States. We're rolling now, huh?
That's not correct.
Doesn't make it right. Don't go showering to try to please me.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on?
Do you like
Dangling.
breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation.
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked.
Intimate.
Dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humps.
You never know.
I've been dry humps.
Many, many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Have you ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
hoo-ah.
I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on. It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
No.
Hoo-ah.
But I think it's
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second.
Hoo-ah.
Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APAC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No. It's a, You're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's a few
That's
good
the one I
men,
bought.
and that's a few good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
That's it's a different movie. Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
That's
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind. We've got a broadcasting legend, a soccer legend joining us now. The voice of soccer, I would say. I could say that. I didn't mean to say it as if it was a question. It's not a question. Andres Cantor is with us, and so that's a thrill. We've got a lot of soccer for you remaining in the show. We've got some good follow later this hour. Whittingham and Tom Bogerts are going to be on with Mike Ryan during the morally abhorrent post-game show. And also, Whitty's going to be on with Zaslow tonight on ESPN Radio because Whitty is now challenging Andres Cantor for the voice of soccer. So, Andres, you've only been at this 26 years. Telemundo, you're covering your 10th World Cup. Thank you for being on with us. Is Argentina-Egypt the craziest game you've personally ever called?
It was definitely then the craziest comeback I ever called. That's for sure. I really thought Argentina was going out. I mean, they had 11 minutes to go and they were down 2-0. I got some beef with you guys.
¿Qué pasó? What happened?
To clear with you guys. Come on, you know better.
¿Qué pasó?
That game, I mean, that narrative about being the game being fixed and all that BS. Come on, guys. You don't fix the game. Yeah. I'm talking to you. Yes.
Who are you talking to?
Me, I'm on your side, pal. Like, I'm one of those people that have been saying, let's acknowledge his greatness. You got it twisted. I think I'm owed an apology
who are you?
here.
Wait a minute.
Let me tell you
okay,
something.
hold
You
on,
and everybody else, you don't rig a game by giving Egypt a 2-0 lead. That's not how you rig them.
Exactly. I'm going to put it in NFL terms. I don't know how you rig a game anyways, but you wouldn't think that a rigged game at the Super Bowl would be 35-7 at the 2-minute warning. No chance. If you rig anything, you rig it way before. So, okay, end of story.
Who are you
Yeah,
coming
it was,
after? Who are you
I'm
fighting
your
with?
ally.
I don't know. Who was he accusing of
You know what? I'm going to flip 180 faster than Dan on Pulisic if Jude Bellingham gets a yellow.
Was this show, did this show claim that the game was rigged? I think it's fairly scandalous that Egypt's coach put his name on that, though, Andres. Like, that's not, in American sports, that does not happen.
That is fine. Yeah, but this is not American sports. I just love the fact that you guys are covering the World Cup so much, and I really, really hope that you keep covering soccer into Miami after the World Cup is over. I know you will.
We might not. Don't be
No promises here.
Don't be so sure.
No
Don't be,
promises.
if Messi scores 7 goals a game, maybe we will talk about
30-second
it
bursts.
occasionally. You thought the game was over though against Egypt. You had lost hope.
I didn't. I was in my mind. I was thinking about the obituary for the world champion. That is the truth. But I never said outright. I've learned through 40 years of broadcasting this game that, like Yogi Berra said, it ain't over until it's over. And especially if you have a GOAT like Messi in the pitch. And I didn't see it coming, honestly. I thought there was no way for Argentina to come back. So I saw it. I saw the champions bowling out against Egypt. That's the truth.
Andres, the type of emotion that we saw from Messi after he tied the game at 2. We rarely see that type of emotion from him, right?
It was a decompression, yes, it's right. But it was the emotion that all Argentinians had. You should have seen the press box. I mean, we were all in tears. I guess the tears were tears of relief because, Egypt had the game of their lives and they almost knocked Argentina out. So it was really, really tough. It wasn't definitely the way Messi would have wanted to go out in his illustrious career. So it was just tears of joy, but tears of relief, the same tears that all Argentinians shed after the match.
So hold on a second.
Myself.
So wait a minute. So you cried when they won the World Cup famously during you can hear your voice cracking. You're weeping when they won the World Cup. You were looking around the press box, and how many of the people in there with you, allegedly objective journalists, were crying?
But you have to understand that the Argentinian journalists, they're all very objective, but they're all Argentinian, obviously, and they only talk to one public, which is Argentina's public back home. So they have, a leeway more than I do, at least here in this country where I speak Spanish to 26 different nationalities. So it is understandable that they were overcome by emotions. I try to compose myself as much as I can. And then when, I had a 3-1, you're off, I just didn't faint, but I had given it all my all, and I said, regardless of, I think my parting shots was, regardless of the outcome of this match, the Egyptian players probably will be received as national heroes. They played their match of their lives, but in front of them, they had Leo Messi, none other. So, yeah.
How many of the people around you were crying, though? I'm asking the question
all
because
the Argentinian press.
So everybody around you was just weeping, and you're waiting, and you take your headsets off. You tried to stay composed on the air, but you start when you take your headsets off because of the decompression?
I don't know if I cried per se, but I expressed my emotions privately as soon as I went off the air, and I was the the big letdown when after maximum effort. So I just
relief.
Yeah, relief.
That's what it would be like in the press box if the Dolphins won the Super Bowl, right? We'd all be crying.
Something like that. Yeah, Greg Cody would be crying. I want to play for you, Andres. Pablo Giralt. You tell me how professional or unprofessional this is. He is doing the call here, and he uses a lot of words. I think he said you. So you're from? Are you familiar? Okay, you saw that.
I saw your show yesterday, and you missed some context.
Okay, please help me understand what happened here. Translate, it was moving too fast to me.
¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! ¡2-2! ¡Aquí está el campeón del mundo! ¡Aquí está el campeón del mundo! ¡Vamos Argentina de mi vida! ¡Nunca quedarse por vencido! ¡2-2! ¡Vamos Leo de mi vida! ¡Vamos leyenda! ¡Leo de mi vida y de mi corazón! ¡Vamos leyenda! ¡Vamos Leo viejo nomás! ¡Vamos Leo viejo nomás! 2-2 Juan Pablo! ¡Esto no ha terminado! ¡No termina hasta que suene la campana, compañero! 2-2!
I love it.
That's Pablo. He's one of the greatest. But you have to put in context, la puta madre in Argentinian Spanish, and don't take your audience will understand. It's not he's not cussing at anybody. It's just an expression. We have many colloquial expressions that have very bad words but have no meaning. He's not cussing at anybody.
He's saying your mom is a slut, Andres. I don't know what you're.
No,
yeah,
Dad, no. That's the hey, don't laugh. This is Argentinian culture.
No.
If I burn myself, okay, or let's say I'm drinking mate right now and the water is very hot. I will go la puta madre.
Your mom's a slut.
It's like
the way that I say MFer.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but it's not what you think it is. And then carajo, it's I know you went into you looked it up and everything. Don't we have a store? US and 27. US 1 and 27.
No, that's Ñoque Barato. No, or you're talking about we have a store named Carajo.
No,
He's talking about dicks.
No, that's in Hialeah.
It's a fair criticism. Like
no, but Dick's a
in
name.
America, we have a store called Dick's.
No, but that's someone's name though. Your mom is a slut is not someone's name, and carajo is hell, and it's a curse word.
Well, Dick can also be a name. Different meanings.
Within the Argentinian, and that is the license. There you go. Exactly. We gotta go there and get some free. What's it say? Wine store, tapas, and bakery. Hey, what a plug. Let's all go. Dad, after the World Cup, you and I go and do a live remote from there, free and get free pastries. Anyways, in context, he's broadcasting for Argentina. That is the way in Argentina. That's the way they talk. For good or for bad. That's the way we all talk in Argentina. Which it's you have to put it within cultural and context, so it's not that bad. I know it sounds bad here, but it's not.
The cultural.
I wouldn't say that here. I mean, I would say that.
You would not say
no,
that.
The minute I say that, I'm joining your show. I'm taking over Stu Goats for Dan Le Batard and Stu.
Yeah.
It'll be Dan Le Batard and Cantor.
Yes.
Show because that'd be out of the job.
Dan Le Batard show with your mom's a slut. Your mom, like that is what he said. Like you're not even disputing that that's what he said.
I'm not disputing verbatim. That's what he said. Contextually, in a cultural context, it's not that bad.
All right. The cultural context is he said your mom is a slut. We can move on. It's fine. We don't have to argue. We don't have to argue about this anymore. When you watch the way the United States is presently covering its World Cup appearance, when I just thought that the world knows that this is what the United States is. This was not surprising. This is about where the expectations are for this team. What do you make of how critical everyone is being, jumping on the back of this team, saying that this World Cup was an abject failure?
It wasn't a failure, and I will put an asterisk on everything that happened against Belgium. And I will explain why, and I will just reiterate what I said, my parting shot in that broadcast on Telemundo that day. I said that Belgium was the better team, but hopefully soon we will know if all the noise around the red card, the lift of the red card on Balogun and the fact that he played, all the noise around it had anything to do and impacted the players. Because obviously Belgium, again, was a better team, but the U.S. had played a hell of a World Cup up to then, and they were not up to par. They did not come out firing. They did not play well individually. They were very bland. They didn't have that gut performance that they showed in the previous matches. So, for the good of this team and Pochettino's process of 2.5 years, I think the truth has to be told. And I compared it to the 1998 World Cup, when many years later we found out why the U.S. finished last in that World Cup, because they had a very internal issue, very delicate internal issue within the locker room right before the World Cup by, excluding the captain, John Harkes, and then we found out what had happened many years after the fact, and that obviously had repercussions within the team. So, yes, we were outclassed by Belgium, but I would really like to know one day how much all the noise around, what happened with Balogun interfered with the mental preparation and physical response of the team that day in Seattle.
I would have thought, if you were objecting to something that our show did over the last couple of days, that it wouldn't have been about Egypt's rigging. It would have been about me saying that Argentina's not very good, if not for Messi. They're just another team.
No, because you're right. Argentina's hanging. I mean, look how crazy soccer is. We all people that cover Argentina and that have covered Messi since he plays for Inter Miami. We see him every weekend. We all asked, what is he? What will his role be in this World Cup? He's going to be 39. Is he going to come off the bench when the game needs? Is he going to come out of the games and play 45 minutes if Argentina has a comfortable lead? And look at him now. He's the savior of the team. He's the goal scorer of the tournament. He plays every single minute. He was against Cabo Verde in Miami, in the heat and humidity of Miami the other day. He was the fourth Argentinian player that ran the most, and he's 39, and he has won it all. And yet he's, showing the way, and I totally agree with you. Argentina is running out of legs. They're a very good team, but they have a heart this big, and what else they have, and that's what's keeping them in the tournament. Messi plus heart plus that.
It's a pleasure to listen to your work after all of these years. He'll be announcing Saturday night's Argentina-Switzerland quarterfinal match. That's on Telemundo. He's the biggest voice there is in this sport. Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.
Likewise, and I hope you bring Argentina luck all the way. So you don't think I really hope that they win handedly. So the discussion will be somewhere else over the weekend.
Carajo. Cuídate.
Carajo.
Thank you for being on with us. We're going to have Good Follow in a second. I've told you before that you should check out what it is that they're doing. Pitch Clock, which is normally in this spot, will be found on YouTube. You can find it, but it's doing well, and so we send it off, even further segregating it away from the show, as Trista and Juju will carry us here. Before we get to Morally Abhorrent, the postgame show that it's Tom Bogert. I've gotten a lot of names wrong today. I owe $20.
It's actually Thierry Bogert.
I'm gonna pay $20 in fines today for the names that I've gotten wrong.
Also, Pitch Clock going to be in the podcast feed, the same DLS podcast feed many of you are listening to right now.
That's right. It's Thursday Thunder, and it's presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Juju, what do we got?
Yes, sir, man. Time to make some cash, if you feel me. First leg of the WNBA Thursday Thunder. I'm going with my sister, Valeriane, whatever you call her. Make sure you say the ayaye. She's getting 10 points tonight. Lock it in. Next leg, I'm going with Double E, Emily Inksler, for 8 points with them Portland Fire. And the last leg, man, Caitlin Clark sitting out tonight. Lock it in, Caitlin Clark. Don't be putting them numbers in thinking she going to play. So my sister Ty Harris finna step up and get you at least 6 points tonight. Lock them in, man. DraftKings Sports now available in all 50 states. The crown is yours.
Juju, we've got less than 50 seconds left, and Andres Cantor is a chronic, and he just wants to hang around the show, so we can just put him in the box as you update the polls there. Go ahead and update the polls for as fast as you can before we get to Good Follow.
Was Cinderella once a local mop girl? Ain't that a 93% of the audience says yes. Man. What? Is the DUI test too physically strenuous? 75% of the audience says yes, it is. Are you gaining weight when you walk downstairs? 60% of the audience says no, you are not. And last poll, Turkey, I'm sorry. Sincere or insincere? 62% of the audience says insincere, and those are your polls.
Good Follow is next.
Welcome back to Good Follow, presented by DraftKings Sports. Now, let me repeat that. Presented by DraftKings Sports. I am the kid, Juju Gotti, joined by my sister, Trista Crick. As always, how are you doing, sis?
Just touched down into Las Vegas, Juju. The home of the Las Vegas Aces may come out and catch a Fever Aces game in the next couple of days. We'll have to keep a close one on that, but I'm here for Summer League, but I'm also for the W.
Let's stick right in Las Vegas. Headline news, man. Broke my damn heart. Kennedy Carter has been waived by the Aces, man. What is your first thoughts? I saw you was live when this news happened with our sister Carrie Champion. Salute. What is your thoughts behind this, bruh?
It's a sad situation because you're talking about someone who's so skilled. You're talking about someone who's just a certified bucket. Me and you were very excited about this decision to bring her in, to envelop her in a place where the culture is championship DNA level, and for her to be waived, not even to be moved or traded, for some of the ways that it already started at the beginning of the season where she was talking a lot out of school, out of line with what the Vegas Aces normally allow. The stuff on social media where ages online being like, I think it's time for you to log off. It felt like the writing was a bit on the wall. And Juju, I'd love to get your thoughts on this, but it's like, if you can't make it in a place like Vegas where they're giving you all of the tools, all of these champions to take you under their wing about like what it means to be a pro, then like I don't know what WNBA team you'll fit on.
Right, bruh. And like you say, the wording behind it, my dog been waived because the folks at the Vegas Aces facility, they're not idiots. They know that without a lot of information attached to why she's been waived, it's gonna cause us to think that, damn, my dog was a headache again in the locker room. And so for them to not lend no voice to the contrary, I feel like it's very, very revealing because they would have got in front of that if not. In my opinion, I could be wrong and I hope I'm wrong. But for them to know what we was gonna think when this happened and to make it so vague, no trade either, man. Damn, bro. It break my heart for my dog. Hopefully I'm wrong as hell and my dog is right now being pursued by a team and she makes that roster. But damn, this is definitely tough to come back from here, bro.
Juju, I heard that they scoured the entire league looking to trade her.
Man. Well, how about this? Because we've been faithful and we've been trying to have faith in sis. Could this or should this have been expected? Like, that's the question, because in my opinion, I was like, bro, if anybody get in trouble this year, I know who ain't. But damn, should we have expected this, dog?
It's so hard for an adult to change their behavior and their patterns, you know, and you need to do a lot of work. I mean, as someone who's gone through therapy, on my end, I know Juju, you understand what it's like to work on yourself as well. And like, we have things that trigger us. We have things that cause us to act outside of our own minds, you know, and mental health is a real thing. Just because you're elite at putting the ball into the hoop and elite at breaking somebody down off the dribble and can rebound and is an athletic freak and like can defend and all these things that we know Kennedy's always been able to do, that doesn't mean that everything is everything upstairs. And I think like this is a wake-up call. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you're dealing with, but like this is a time to find people to support you, to get you to, if this is what it is, which I think it is, to get somebody around you or somebody's around you to like put you in a position to stop making these decisions and stop getting in your own way because you're that talented. And we're seeing this also, Juju, with Skylar and like her getting in her own way.
When that phone be ringing off the hook with them wake-up calls, it be fire. But sometimes them calls slow down and now them wake-up calls they don't even come to your room no more. It's expected for you to wake your behind up on your own. So I fear that my sis might be out of wake-up calls, bruh. Luckily, though, she is a legend in China or where is it from? Hong Kong? Beijing?
All of them. I think she went to Mexico as well. She was like
Mexico.
in Mexico City. She was in China. Like she went on a world tour last year, Juju, and she was balling. But guess what? When not everybody else speaks English and you speak English, a lot of problems go away.
You feel me? They be like, wait, what'd you say? You're like, oh no, I said I love you. But yeah, man, moving on, bro. You hit it right on the head. My dog Skylar Diggins is not necessarily happy right now. She took to Instagram and shared a wee bit of frustration you did with the Sky, saying that, hey, man, I done been sat to the bench, man. Them boy done sunk me on the damn bench, bro. What you think about Skylar, bro?
She also said, Juju, I don't know if you saw her roaming around the streets of Phoenix, the scene of the trauma, gets off the plane and goes on Instagram stories, walking around with palm trees in the background.
Bro, did you see the quality of that camera? Bro, who shot this?
And the crazy part about it all is that I've been so quiet. I've been so good and quiet. I've been so good and quiet.
What's your first thought seeing this? Because a couple weeks ago, we predicted that, hey, man, y'all might need to free my dog before it get too crazy up there. And we weren't far from wrong.
Listen, they didn't bench her for no reason. This is what she did to react to being benched, okay? Alone. When she's supposed to be with the squad. Why aren't you with the team right now?
Where is Sydney Taylor right now, bro? What, does anybody have eyes on you?
You shouldn't be out wandering Phoenix, okay? You're supposed to be at practice.
Oh, but we forgot, though. Phoenix, that's her hood for real.
Yes.
She been there, done that in them streets, so she probably beat Skylar in them streets.
And I know that it's like a tough thing. You go back to the scene where a lot of frustrations and trauma lived. You find out you've been benched when you touch down, you know. You get on Instagram Live. The question that I have is, you know, it's not because of Sloot. Sloot knew they knew they were going to play together.
Yeah, Sloot doggy dog.
They knew that was going to be the case. They figured out a way to have Sloot, Tosh, and Sky all together. They knew what time it was.
Well, let's get to the logistics because we guessing no matter what. Do you think that this was a justified move from Tyler Marsh? Because yes, it's gonna cause a stir anytime you have to sit one of your vets down. You feel me? They get that first taste of that bench. But when folk right to sitter.
Listen, you're not about to flash on me and think I'm gonna start you. Listen,
allegedly.
I have to enact some level. These people don't respect me, okay? They don't respect me as a coach. You're out here saying in the press conference that our half-court offense stinks because of me. Like, listen, you're not about to just say whatever you want to me and think that the one piece of power that I have I'm not going to use, which is sit down. Let's see.
Nah, bro. Hell nah, bro.
Juju.
This is funny. This is hilarious. I'm laughing because this is hilarious, ladies and gentlemen. What'd you say?
If you're in charge of the team.
Yeah.
And somebody flashes at you in public.
Yeah. Okay.
Just hypothetically.
Okay.
Are you going to start them the next game?
Man, see, look, this is what I do. I'm going to start them the next game, but I'm going to just make sure I get this apology in front of all these folks you flashed on me in front of before we do anything. Look, all of this is speculation. I don't even know if none of this happened. We're talking about me. So, I don't know, bruh. I just think that sometimes, bro, I think my boy Tyler was probably just tinkering with the lineup. You feel me? Because now we got Sloot Doggy Dog back and Sid going crazy. Sid is giving us way more than we planned for before this season.
She's so good.
You feel me?
So good.
And so I think that's more so what's going on than any kind of, what is it, like some kind of punishment or some kind of relegation or retaliation.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If it wasn't a punishment,
yeah.
Why did Skylar then say, I think I'm done putting my body on the line, and then was out for injury management.
Moving on, I think let's check out, the little mid-season form that the Seattle Storm has had lately. Because now, a little bit of confusion from me at times watching them play. Some nights, Flage is LeBron damn James. I think Kevin Durant need to sit courtside every Seattle Storm game.
No doubt.
Some games, she don't shoot the ball. You dig? And I get it, she a rookie, so we judging on this scale anyway. But the rest of the roster construction, what do you think so far about how Seattle has handled this first half of the season?
I think they have the chance to be really good. I think their roster, they have a bunch of pieces that are individually quite good. The question that I have is like, are we buying? And I want to hear you as a hooper, Juju. Not like what could be, right? Yeah. But what you think will be the outcome of Awa Pham, Ezi Magbagor, and Dominique Malonga on the team at the same time. Yes, do they play differently than one another? Sure, they're not twins, but do they also occupy the same position and have similar things that limit them that they can't do, that if they played a different position, they would have to do?
And we talking about Ezi and Awa mostly. Because Dom is just a generational talent. We can't really put her on the list. But
is Ezi going to cut into Dom's minutes at all?
Oh, I don't think so. When it start mattering, I don't think so. Hopefully they can win and put a couple of wins together so it does matter by the end of the season this year. But if it starts mattering, I'm thinking we're gonna see that killer lineup that we expect: Awa, Ezi, Dom, Flage, and T. At the point guard. Salute to Jay Melbourne been one of them ones this year for me. Because she come off the bench with that spark every time. But I think if it comes down to it, that's the lineup we're going to see. And I don't necessarily see too many problems with the potential, like you said, of the lineup. Now, what we're seeing right now currently, I think we're seeing somebody come back from injury. And like the Skylar Diggins situation, we testing out some of these lineups to see which ones work. You did? What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking around the league because I'm asking everybody like, hey, it's the same question that we all have when we see them.
Yeah.
People who evaluate talent that I trust, smart people. I'm like, yo, you think Ezi, Dom, and Awa are going to work together? Like, you think long-term they're going to share the floor together?
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I've heard one yes.
Oh,
except for you. And you could be right and they could be wrong. But I think just the thing that they need to be held accountable for. Number one, you totally miscalculated who the Minnesota Lynx were going to take because everybody knows you wanted Olivia. You know that.
Now everybody knows. I didn't know that just now. Put me on game.
They wanted Olivia. That was their plan. The Lynx were supposed to take Awa and all the mocks. Or Lauren. Because they thought, a lot of people who, write about basketball are like, oh, they need a big. They lost Jess Shepard. Right. They lost Lamb Man. Like, they need somebody to help Fi's out for a bunch of the season. They just need another big. So that was what was, and then it was like, ooh, Seattle's gonna get Olivia Miles. They're just so pumped about it. And then Cheryl Reeve was sort of misdirecting the whole time, and then was pretty much always intending to take Olivia. And Olivia is very special. So then Seattle has to figure it out on the fly. Swoop! And then they take best available player, and Awa is special, and I think she could be transcendent. But you probably should have waited to pay Ezi like $1.25 million a year until after the draft. Because you signed her a day before the draft. One day, 24 hours before, when you thought it was sweet when you were going to get Olivia Miles. Secondly, then, now you pivot and you go get Flage, which I totally respect and love. But then you go out and spend a first-round pick on Taina Mare, who at this point is 0.7 points per game, 0.7 rebounds per game, 0.7 assists per game, and You cored Ezzy when you could have cored Gabby Williams. And so you could have had
There we go.
Gabby. You could have
Skyler.
you could have Kiki Rice.
You feel me? Oh, wow. I forgot all about Kiki. But this is instead of Awa, though.
Instead of Awa. And Awa would be somewhere else.
Thriving.
Or you could have had Awa and no Ezzy and figured it out.
I see what you're saying. It's a 6-7 situation.
You would have Gabby.
Right. Because give me Gabby no matter what. A lot of time. You dig it? Yeah. Can I think?
Ezzy, but I was shocked. Juju, 1.25 million for 3 years for Ezzy. Go get your bread, Marcus. Get that girl her bread, Marcus. But holy shit, I didn't know Ezzy was a max player. And she was, listen, second team all defense, 10th in the league in blocks. We love Ezzy.
I got a question.
All right.
How long has Ezzy been in the league? I can't off the top of my head. What year is this for Ezzy?
6.
This is Ezzy's 6th year right now?
7th year. I think she has 6 years of experience.
And how old is Ezzy?
I think she's 26.
If you don't mind me asking.
I think she's 26.
26. Damn. See, I was finna play the man. She just got here not too long ago. Look, bro. Hopefully they get it together. It's looking good right now for me. I don't know what they're seeing. You did. They probably looking down the road and they seeing what you're saying. Mathematically, we could have been what we are. And that Gabby Williams tape does not help matters because I don't give a damn where Gabby Williams wanted to go. Sis, you with us until the paper say.
That's why we franchise tag players. If the NFL looked at their players and they were like, well, I don't want to play for the Jets anymore. It's like, I'm sorry, Quinnen Williams, you're getting franchise tagged.
Right.
We see people get tagged year after year after year, they're getting tagged.
Exactly, bro. I'm so sorry, Gabby. We got some green and yellow for you, sis. I'm so sorry. We'll get you a new windbreaker, but you're going to be playing in Seattle.
No
you might be a little sleepy.
We're the only ones that can offer you the real bread.
It's now time for the DraftKings Sports Pick of the Week, presented by DraftKings Sports. This week, we watching the New York Liberty take on them girls, pardon me, the Minnesota Lynx this Saturday. Who we watching, sis?
I'm watching Sabrina Ionescu, Juju, because she's looking like her back and her legs and her ankles are right. I've seen the little wiggle. I've seen the step back. And if Sabrina's fully healthy, I know they just lost to the Wings and they got smacked down. But I'm watching Sabrina fully because I'm also watching Nasty.
On the Lynx side of things, I'm watching It's a Bird, It's a Plane. No, it's Big Dorka Uhas back in the streets. Keep your eye on sis because I think she want to make an immediate impact because it's a lot going on over there in Minnesota. She got that Yukon blood in her, and it's time to put up or shut up in that West. And I think sis plan on putting up, especially this Saturday. You dig it? And that right there, this segment is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings Sports now available in all 50 states. 50 of them things, man. The crown is yours. And that's going to be it for this week's episode of Good Follow, man. Make sure to subscribe to all of Good Follow's YouTube pages, social pages, every page you can think of. We there at Good Follow Show.
And just to dovetail, you can catch all new episodes of Good Follow every Thursday. So tune in on Thursday on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Good Follow is brought to you by DraftKings Sports. We'll see you next week.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow. Are you turned on?
Do you like
Dangling.
breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation.
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked.
Intimate.
Dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humped.
You never know.
I've been dry humped.
Many, many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Have you ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
no.
No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
No.
But I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's a few
That's
good
the one I
men,
bought.
and that's a few
brutal.
good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's
That
not,
is
you're not
brutal.
man enough to know the truth. I
You
can't-
can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
That's
Don't know?
it's a different
Damn it.
movie.
Seriously?
Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
who?
hot
In
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in a Dolphin.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of Morally Abhorrent, our World Cup situation here on the Dan Le Batard Show, joined by Chris Whittingham and Tom Bogert, both at the Galazzo Network. Tom's been on the road with the U.S. men's national team the entire ride. Chris has been following along. Football is his passion. Boys, yesterday was a really long day, a full 24 hours without the World Cup, and I am proud of the United States of America. We are a proper footballing nation because we have taken 24 hours to completely trash the former prodigy and the face of American soccer in Christian Pulisic. Now, I'll begin with Tom. Christian Pulisic just put out a statement explaining to everybody that he was injured, and it worked on Dan Le Batard. He played the empath perfectly well, and I had to explain to him that injury happened well into that match. It was 3-1 by the time Christian Pulisic came out. That doesn't explain the poor performance there. It only explains a 5-minute stretch. What do you make of the last 24-hour news cycle around Christian, Tom?
It's been fascinating, and I think a lot of it has been opinions that people either had or were forming, and the Belgium result was the last straw. I mean, he's been criticized for not showing up in big games, which I think is a little bit unfair. He was criticized for being fragile, which it's not necessarily his fault, but I think it's just a fact. And this World Cup was a microcosm of his professional career and of his U.S. national team career. He was awesome against Paraguay. Those 45 minutes, he looked like a world-class player. And after that, he picked up 2 injuries, missed a game, and then didn't do anything against Belgium in the most pivotal game up until that point at the World Cup for the U.S. So I understand. I think he deserves to get criticized. Some people are saying it's gone too far, and sure, maybe that's true. But I will say the wording on the injury release is interesting to me. I've never seen the word microfracture to describe an injury. And I think that a lot of people wanted it out, that it was technically a fracture, a broken leg or whatever, but he's going to be back in like a month. So not to downplay the injury, but I think now the other side of the discourse is, whoa, he had a broken leg, when in reality that's a little bit overstated too.
Yeah, that's overstated. But you did mention something that I think is true. It's certainly true about me, and it caught me by surprise. There was a flood of Christian Pulisic takes that I had, that I was surprising myself with, because Whitty and you and I did a Chelsea podcast, and we interviewed Christian a lot of times, and we known for many years, for going maybe back a decade, he's on this kind of load management program. You have to be very careful. He has this sensitive ecosystem that we're trying to protect because we want him to be in the best possible situation to create and excel. And once he hit 27 years old, it was all about this World Cup, and he failed to meet the expectations. I caught myself by surprise in the flood of emotions and resentments that I had against Christian.
Yeah, I mean, there are any number of reasons why, but I think the number one is he's the number one American soccer star that has been built up for 10 years. And if you're going to build up an American soccer star for 10 years, the only reason why you're going to do it is so that he can perform well at the home World Cup, and he just didn't. And obviously injuries play a role in that. That's been a part of his career. I think we probably have been looking past this for a long time, where we've been trying to say it's the World Cup, it's the World Cup, it's the World Cup. But there is a mountain of evidence, down to the fact that Chelsea had him. He was a great player. We talked about it all the time in the Champions League run when they won it. He was a great player, but he didn't start the final. I don't even think he came off the bench in the final. And Chelsea decided, we don't really want him anymore. We have all these new players. We're going to go with them instead. He goes to Milan, has been on a good run, but Milan are not a Scudetto contender as long as he's been there. He's a good player in a good team, not a great player in a great team. And I think we have sort of been in denial about this for a while and trying to hope that there was some other level that he would reach, but it just wasn't there. And I think it leads to this sort of amount of, well, what have we been building up for the last 10 years? Because it goes back all the way to when Grant Wall wrote a book about him when he was very young, wrote all the pieces saying that this is going to be the next guy, then all of the commercials, all the interviews. He is the one name that is associated with modern American soccer. I don't think after this World Cup, too many people will be able to name a player beyond Christian Pulisic, because he's just that guy who's in all the commercials. He's in our face all the time. And there's this feeling that he didn't want this, and yet you're doing all of it. You're doing all of the commercials and the interviews and the Time Magazine and the GQ thing and all this stuff where it's all about building up brand Pulisic. Well, if you're going to do all that stuff, then at the end, you're going to face the music when you don't perform well. And that's exactly what happened.
Tom, I'm stunned, considering that the President of the United States of America injected himself into this, and it seems to have really negatively affected the United States in ways that I've talked to people at U.S. Soccer about, and ways that were clear with Belgian goal celebrations. They're not even talking about Donald Trump ruining the chances of the U.S. men's soccer team. Poach is totally skating as a manager who the book on him the entire time is he can't win the big one. How glad is everybody else for Christian Pulisic? Is he getting too much of the blame?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do, though. And we as a collective, not the three of us on this show, that, as Whitty said, he's the guy. He's the one who got the Captain America nickname, which
after what happened against Belgium for him, and after Aaron Judge at the World Baseball Classic, and after maybe we should only have the men and women's hockey team and the women's national soccer team get the Captain America nicknames for the time being. But that's a sidebar. This is going to happen. Like, he's the guy. He's the face of the team. Like Witty, with everything said. What's struck me as odd with Pulisic, I guess in the public-facing version, is like he's done all the endorsements and the brand deals. And first of all, every right to go get your money, man. Like, that's awesome. And that shows how this game has continued to accelerate in this country, and his star is continuing to be built. But he didn't ever seem like he wanted to do all of that. Like, he wanted the brand deal without the contracts. Like, it was a Kawhi Leonard situation in which he wasn't allowed to just skip out on interviews and stuff. He's never been a great interview, and that's fine. Who cares? Like, what matters most is on the field. But I think that was all building underneath the surface leading into this poor performance. And the expectation and the hope was not just like this World Cup. It was that game. This was the one to beat Belgium. Because right now, they can't beat the allegations of, well, you're a good team, but you can't beat anybody who's really good. And by the way, Belgium didn't look really good in literally any other game except for against the U.S. Yes, they beat Iraq, I think 6-0, but like, I'm throwing that one out. They drew their first 2 games. They barely got through against Senegal, so much so that the coach benched Jeremy Doku and benched Kevin De Bruyne. I was told media members covering the Belgian team had booked a trip to the airport the next day during the Senegal game. They were like, this is over. There's no way they come back. So Belgium, it's not Spain. It's not France. It's not Argentina, right? And this was the moment. And for it to end like this, end at the same stage that it did in 2022 and 2014 and 2010, with allegedly the golden generation, the best players, allegedly the best coach that they've ever had, at a home World Cup. These players are in their primes. They deserve to have this criticism for it to be a disappointment. Though there were good moments at the World Cup, they deserve it to be criticized. And Tom, can I just quibble with one thing you said, just in terms of it's not a big deal that he doesn't want it and he's bad in interviews? I'm sort of starting to not subscribe to that theory. Not that we're important, but you kind of want someone who wants to be a star, right? Because that sort of implies leadership. That implies I'm ready to take on the mantle. Who's all of a sudden become the biggest star of this World Cup? On all my social media feeds, it's Erling Haaland. You know what Erling Haaland is doing every 5 days? Putting out a vlog on his YouTube channel. He wants this. He wants to be, give me your Instagram followers, give me the banter, and what I'll do in response is I'll kick your ass on the field and score 2 goals to knock Brazil out of this thing. I am sort of tired of this idea of, it's okay if you don't want the limelight, you don't want to be a star. No, this is soccer in America, man. We're trying to make this big. I want someone who wants what, frankly, Weston McKennie wants. I just don't think he's quite good enough in order to back it up. Like, bring me your fame, bring me the pressure, the expectations, all that stuff, because it just seems like it's a group of guys that are like, I'm just here to play. It's okay. No, man, like, have some leadership and some expectations and some pride and personality in yourself. Witty, I do think that's a fair point. I was just trying to be careful to not sound like, oh, he doesn't speak to the media, that's why I'm going to criticize him, or he's not a good, like, because that's not, like, what's most important is on the field. Yeah, I love the stuff with Erling Haaland, but you know what wouldn't be fun is if he wasn't scoring goals at the World Cup and then doing a vlog and putting out pictures of him in a cowboy hat. And I'm glad you brought up Weston McKennie, because another point I wanted to make is sources like close to the team, like, it's like somebody joked, like, Pulisic, like, if your personality was Weston McKennie's, you'd be the biggest star. You'd be a superstar. And like McKinney's like, yeah, from like what I've heard. And McKennie, and like, so I also wouldn't ascribe this to the whole team. McKennie is one of the most buoyant, fun, big personalities that I've ever covered. He's hilarious and he's nonstop. Like, even Flo Balogun was joking, like, yeah, I've told him to like cool it, and like he just won't listen. But he means well. Like, even like he's so much fun, or so like joking when we get to watch the first 15 minutes of training sessions, they always do rondos, which is the one thing that I miss about playing even collegiate soccer or anything like of a training session. Those are the most fun. Weston McKennie is the loudest, most fun, most engaged player every single day in that part of training. It's very fun to watch. And Tyler Adams is a great leader, and particularly Adams and McKennie, the way that they play off each other in interviews. Like, Adams has a good personality. He's more serious when he comes off because that's who he is, but he's fun. Tim Ream is a little bit different, but like he can be a fun guy to talk to in the media. There are Chris Richards is a great personality. Mark McKenzie. You kind of go on down the list. I don't think it's fair to ascribe this to the whole team.
Well, let's talk about the team and how they came out flat. And I mentioned, I think Pochettino's skating a little bit because there is no explanation for what happened on the wings, how the midfield got chewed up. The United States flatly could not get anything going. They looked uninspired and flat, and the exact opposite can be said for Belgium. Now, I know they found inspiration off the pitch, no doubt, but it was shocking. It's not like we were playing Argentina. It's not like we were playing Spain in 2009. The closest that I felt to that was that Copa America match like about a decade ago, where at the very end, the U.S. finally mustered up a lazy cross that I think counted as a shot on goal. We had no shot in that match. Why was that, Whitty?
I don't know. And I was in the stadium. I went to the game as a fan, and I was sat next to our friend Fonzie. We both looked at each other after 5 minutes and went, "This isn't good. Like, no one is doing anything well." And to your point, that implies something more systemic. That doesn't, to me, seem like 11 players individually shit themselves in the big moment. Like, it just doesn't seem like that's possible. Maybe that's exactly what happened. Maybe they were out tacticked, and finally someone decided to play over the press rather than through the press. Courtois just kept hitting these long balls over and over and over again to the left side of that defense, and Ream and Robinson couldn't handle the aerial duels, hardly with a physical presence in Charles de Ketelare or Trossard or whomever. So there was definitely an element of it where they were outthought. And Poch absolutely, I thought, was undressed in the game. I thought Rudy Garcia coached circles around him in the game. But this is when you start to get into what happened with Balogun, the Trump thing, all that other stuff. The fact that you've become the villains of the piece after you've been heroes for 3 weeks, and the world hates you and wants you to lose. It's hard to not realize that before the game. So there are any number of things that went wrong on the day. But everything that the U.S. excelled at was all of a sudden became their weakness in the game. They used their strengths and they turned it against them, Belgium, in the game. And that just doesn't make any sense. You can say it's level of opposition, and there are plenty of people, some of your colleagues, Tom, at The Athletic, who are sort of, from a very Euro-minded perspective, going, you guys aren't that good. What are you guys on about that you guys had higher expectations? They set the expectations with how they played. If they played like that and lost, that would have been fine. But they played nowhere near that level, and I don't think it's explainable by the elevation in the standard of the opponent. Because Paraguay gave Germany a hell of a game. They knocked them out. They gave France a hell of a game. And it was by far France's toughest game of the tournament, and the U.S. destroyed them. So I don't think it's explainable by the opposition. It's something happened there off the field, on the field, coaching, mentally, that completely led to the U.S. dissolving in front of our eyes.
Well, Tom, we spoke about the versatility and optionality that Poach had user-friendlies to establish, but something that happened with great success was lobbing the ball over to that left side of the field and going at the left side. Were we predictable heading into this match? Were we too late to make an adjustment? By that time, the goose was cooked. Did Belgium see something that said, oh, no, this team is super predictable in the attack. We could just exploit them and beat them on tactics. I don't even need to put Doku in.
For me, the midfield engine is what drove those group stage performances and the win against Bosnia. That is where the game was controlled between Tyler Adams, McKinney, and Tillman. McKinney and Tillman, it was not just the relentlessness of their movement and pressing and again, even in possession off the ball, but it was their intelligence. Like, they created overloads on both sides of the pitch at all times. The rotations of where Anthony Robinson and Serginho Dest would move was completely confusing. The Paraguay head coach called it like this pentagon in the attack, connecting the two more attacking midfielders with the two wingbacks and the center forward. So that is where those games are won, and Belgium controlled that area of the pitch. They, like you said, they didn't necessarily try to play through the pass, but they have Yuri Tielemans instead of like there was a Bosnian midfielder whose name is already escaping me. That central midfielder, when you're a pressing trigger to the other team, that's a bad sign. Belgium had more talent, yes, and I think that was more of the key. And Belgium played better, but like Pochettino, I on two minds, right? Should get criticism for this performance, and he's taking it and he's saying, this like it is what it is, right? He's not pointing to the Balogun situation, and I honestly believe him because the players like insulated as best as they could. Like, it was a fun dichotomy of being around them when they found out literally on the bus to training the day before the game that Balogun was going to be available, and they were all celebrating it, and like maybe a little bit naively, because all the while the entire world is turning on them because of the appearance of corruption, because of the appearance of bending the rules for something that FIFA spokespersons told us after the game. You cannot appeal this red card. That's it. There is no what if, right? So that is not going to be easy. But the players were just happy that he was around. So I don't think that is an explanation. I don't think it is that Belgium was that much better. Like you said, Whitty, I agree with that. sometimes there are just inexplicable bad days. And while Pochettino should get criticism for not going further, I don't know how you fix Serginho Dest laying an egg in this game. I don't know how you fix the Matt Freese mistake. I don't know how you fix the Tim Ream mistake. I don't know how you fix that. All of a sudden, your midfield trio that dominated games just isn't doing it.
Well,
what I will give credit to Belgium is
I know how to
those are
fix
big
it,
calls.
Tom. I know how to fix it.
How do you fix it?
They're not in the roster anymore. They're not selected anymore. You get new players.
Then who do you play? Do you start Berhalter, Aronson, and Zadejas? Like,
There you go.
I
know Freeze. I'm never seeing Freeze ever again. I know that for sure. He can never get a call up ever again. Maybe a backup at the Gold Cup, but yeah, there are ways to fix it.
Who's starting in goal though? Like to Tom's point, who's starting in goal? You're like just anyone?
Hey man, I'm not the manager. Like, I do think that there are other options, no doubt. Like Freeze just never seemed good enough. And it played out in horrific fashion. All right, I want to get to where we're going, but before I do that with Witty, let's talk about where we are right now. I think it's safe to assume, especially with the reports that Pochettino was talking to AC Milan right before the World Cup, which didn't land the right way. I think it's safe to assume Pochettino is going to get back to the club game, and we're going to have to find a new manager. There was some managerial news for the U.S. A person that I've earmarked as a potential future men's national senior team manager was just named to the U23s, and Steve Cherundolo, who I rate, who's had success at the club level. What is Pochettino's future here? How quick does the United States turn the page, or do you anticipate this chapter being a little bit longer than we expect?
So before the tournament, or maybe a month before the tournament, I would have said it's basically like a less than 5% chance that he's still the manager directly after the tournament. I still feel that way about the 2030 World Cup, but there is at least a possibility that he sticks around moving forward, provided that there's a buyout clause in his contract for the club jobs that he's going to want in the future, that he wants now that just maybe aren't open. So I'll look at it from Pochettino's lens first. He's getting paid $6 million a year. Assuming that they wouldn't, give him a big pay decrease, or he wouldn't accept a big pay decrease, because why would he? Not the worst thing to remain the U.S. national team manager in some low-pressure games while you're getting paid really well and you're waiting for a club job to open up. So for U.S. Soccer, they offered him a new contract before the World Cup. That, as far as I understand, is still on the table, and conversations will recommence after the World Cup. They wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of let this digest, to think, to analyze, and ponder the future. But again, if you asked me 2 months ago, I'd say a very, very small chance that he's here a day after the World Cup. Right now, it's more than that. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say anything like 50-50, but like it's certainly more than 5%, right? I don't know if it's the likely outcome, but there's more of a share in the pie for that to happen. So then the question is for U.S. Soccer, if you don't believe he's going to be here in 2030, or maybe they do, who knows? But if you don't believe he's going to be here in 2030, then why would you agree to putting a buyout in his contract if that's what he wants? Why would you agree to continuing to build around him if he's not likely to be here through the full cycle? Because sources have been insistent on this for, even when he took the job. He wants to be back in club football. He wants to be in London in particular if he can. And if that he met with AC Milan, that wasn't a shock. It was unfortunate for him that he met with people who immediately got fired the next week. So he was not actually in the running for that job. And it was just, unfortunately, a little controversy that didn't actually have a chance for him to get that job because of how things would shake out at Milan. But that was indicative of everything that we've heard. And the likelihood is that he's not going to continue in this role. But with how the magic of the group stage went, with the good feelings, with the contract offer on the table, and the lack of obvious other candidates, maybe there's a little bit of a chance he sticks around.
Witty, what do you want to see?
Well, not that. I don't want to see Mauricio Pochettino stick around because we're the safety school. That doesn't sound very good to me at all. And I have not liked, the one thing that I've most disliked about Poch's tenure, I haven't disliked a great deal of it, but this idea that every time a job opens, that every time Spurs need an emergency manager, every time AC Milan comes open and he does the interviews with the London press about, this, and I miss London, I miss the club game and all that stuff, that's not for me. If you want this job, then you want this job. Now, I think he did the job very well in the month that he had it, up until that last 16 game here at this World Cup, but the time in between, the experimentation, some of that stuff, trying Pulisic as a false nine, trying all this stuff, didn't really make much sense to me. But the idea that you're just going to keep him around so that maybe he's your coach until Copa America and then you bring in someone else, that just doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to get a coach for the next 4 years who actually can build around and do something with. I think there are a number of candidates, from the American game, BJ Callahan probably being the number one. I saw yesterday Croatia's manager just left his post because he's been there for a long time. I don't know. Successful national team coaches of other national teams kind of seems like a profile that I would go after. But, I mean, there are any number of ways you can go from a coaching direction.
Witty, a name that has been thrown on, and I want to be clear, this isn't my sourcing. I've just seen him kind of connected to, and I don't know if it's anybody else's, was Roberto Martinez. And I got to tell you, I'd run it back with Poch, even if it's a window-to-window contract basis rather than Roberto Martinez.
All right, so the thing that I've been fantasy booking, I'll give you an opportunity to answer what Tom just said there, Witty. I'm sorry about that. Is 2030 too soon for Michael Bradley? I feel like that's preordained, Witty.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a senior head coach for 6 months. So, I mean, let's let him get a little bit of experience at high level. He seems like 2034 for me. But, I mean, look, there are plenty of coaches who have proved. I mean, Pep Guardiola went from being the Barcelona B manager to being one of the best coaches in senior men's football in a year. So, I mean, it's not impossible that he is actually this good of a coach. But, I mean, we'll see as this Red Bulls group continues to develop. I mean, the Red Bulls went from a team that routinely developed young players who didn't really at all for 7 or 8 years to now they've got 3 that are legitimate prospects for the U.S. national team, all because of Michael Bradley. So I think it's not a bad idea. If you want to just take a shot and say, you know what, you've been in a job for 6 months, but we know your dad, we know you, we know your work ethic, we know you're a good coach, and we believe in you. I would totally be behind that. It just seems a little bit early, certainly on the basis of, and Mike, I sort of think of this comparison a little bit. I remember when the University of Miami were looking for a coach when they brought Mark Richt in, and there was that kind of pool of candidates that was sort of making $2 million a year that you would always talk about with Miami because you didn't think that more was possible. And then you go from Mark Richt to Manny Diaz, and then all of a sudden Mario Cristobal becomes possible because there's a level of investment that is made in the program. If there are mega donors that are willing to get Mauricio Pochettino on a $6 million salary for the U.S. national team, that takes the pool of candidates to another level than you would otherwise think. And so you can think a little bit outside the box because if that's the salary that you can command as the national team coach, you can probably do better than a lot of the people that we're talking about that we just don't know are available or even possible for the U.S.
So let's get Mario Cristobal. Ironically enough, a lot of the same fundraisers are now with U.S. Soccer. Man, Mario Cristobal would find the talent. No doubt. So I think one thing that I will concede is that we've had 2 World Cup cycles, Witty and Tom, where we're changing our identity. We're going to take the fight to you. And while I think mixed results in the previous World Cup in Qatar, this was pretty good. I mean, the Paraguay match was as good as I've ever felt watching the U.S. men's national team. Can we cast aside the argument that we are a counterattacking nation and that's the only way that we're going to be developing? I know that there's been a lot of discourse, which is something that happens every 4 years, every time the U.S. bows out, the pay-for-play system here. Have we fundamentally changed as a soccer nation, and what is this World Cup's legacy, Tom?
We've evolved for sure, but for me, it's different than, and like you see it play out against Belgium, and again, they aren't even one of the heavyweights. To be macro and try to be a little bit kind of more reserved than the emotions that come from a World Cup and getting smacked by Belgium like that, they are somewhere between the 8th and the 16th best team in the world, and that's been the case for 4 of the last 5 World Cups, one of which they missed. Obviously, that is hugely embarrassing. But all that is to say, for the most part, they get to the round of 16. And if you take a step back, if you just start counting off the teams that are ahead of them, you go, okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. But of course we want more. We should want more. And for me, you can't really lose that club in your bag of defending deep, counterattack, and we're going to be gritty as hell. We're going to run through a wall. You would like what Paraguay did against France, maybe a little bit more ethically. But I think that needs to be there because, let's face it, guys, I think we can rule out for the next, 36 years that we're going to be as good as a team like France, as good as a team like England at any given point when they're the best of the best in the world. So you can take the game to a whole lot of countries in the world, and that should continue to be developed. Greg Berhalter did it more cautiously in terms of possession. Mauricio Pochettino, as he changed the team, it was scatterbrain, and it peaked at the World Cup, and particularly in those first 2 group stage games, and then the game against Bosnia. But, I like leaning into transitional nature. And that can be counterattacking or that could be high pressing. And they were at their best at this tournament when they were high pressing, except for when Belgium played around it. And Belgium had the players to do so. And then the U.S. weren't winning those second balls, those 50-50s. The balls that you're trained to win and you're dying to win when the mentality is we're going to counterattack and be defensive and be hard to beat. So I think it needs to be a blend of those things, because if you use the analogy as the club level, man, we're never going to be Man City. We're never going to be Real Madrid. We're never going to be Barcelona. And those are the clubs that the rest of the world the top of the food chain, the rest of the world has to adapt to. So U.S., while we can be bullish for the future, but particularly in the short and midterm, we're not overnight going to produce Lionel Messi. We're not overnight going to produce Spain's midfield or France's attack. And that's okay. Like, that's an extremely high bar. But you have to work within the reality and work to the strengths of your team. And that was what I liked about Pochettino at this World Cup, is it feels like this team is really good in transition and pressing, but they didn't quite develop it the way that, we hope to see against Belgium.
Woody, any thoughts on what Tom just said?
Yeah, I think, look, if you're ultimately talking about winning the World Cup someday, I don't think that you can do it via fluke. I think you have to go out there and beat the best teams. The problem is that going out there and beating the best teams is damn near impossible, even for countries that are currently at a higher level than us. Belgium just beat the United States. I think Belgium are going to get their clocks cleaned by Spain. Like, there are levels, and the levels are so big, the chasm between the levels are so big, that we're probably heading, unless there are some upsets here, for a semifinal of Argentina against England and France against Spain. And you probably could have predicted that before the tournament started. Those, as a matter of fact, were the top 4 seeds coming into the tournament. They were the ones that were seeded in separate parts of the draw. Closing that gap is so hard, and the U.S. is so far away from that. So, yeah, I mean, at some point, you're going to have to beat one of these teams via some means that is not, we're going to line up and try and beat you at your game. But I still think that towards the goal of trying to win it someday, I don't mind, for aspirational reasons, trying to say this will be our style of play. It also, just because of the nature of how European games are scheduled, they have the Nations League, they have qualifying for both the Euros and the World Cup. There is not a lot of room to play European teams in the calendar. So for the most part, you are playing teams that you're better than. And so it's hard to say, let's set up and play defensive against Curacao or Trinidad and Tobago or Honduras or even Mexico. Go beat Mexico at your game. So it's hard to gain that experience. That's why Copa Americas are valuable and why 2024 was such a wasted opportunity. But yeah, I think you kind of have to go through with this idea that we are aspirational, because otherwise you'll never get to the stage of actually winning the thing, which I presume is the goal.
I'm going to keep it with Witty here, but I want Tom's thoughts on this. I was surprised to hear Commissioner Garber mention that Landon made some fair points in that going behind a paywall, they weren't mature enough for that. This was meant to be a launch pad, and the numbers are crazy. The final is going to approach Super Bowl numbers, and honestly, there is no accurate number for what we're seeing here, because this is as communal a sporting experience as there is on the planet. There's scores for every one television that is dialed into this. MLS's calendar, for this time being, was meant to hit the ground running, but not super accessible. I know that our country can keep the energy up for international competition. That seems to resonate. That's great news for the ladies next year. But as I try to explain to people, this is the World Cup finals. The World Cup is basically a 3-year experience. There's all sorts of opportunities to get behind the international badge and talk about these things the way that you are right now. How do we keep this energy, understanding that there is going to be a great deal that tails off? I don't expect people dialing it up for Rapids Real Salt Lake. But what can we do as a soccer community to learn from the obvious momentum that the sport has right now? How do we make sure we don't burn up that capital, Witty?
I think you have to eventize as much as you can. You have to try and make things seem like a big deal. I will say I give credit to the league for scheduling 2 games in between the semifinal and the final on Fox, one of which is going to be an El Tráfico on the Friday night, which is probably your biggest rivalry game between LA Galaxy and LAFC. So you try and capture these moments, but the World Cup is just so easily explainable. You say, which is the best nation at soccer? That's what we're trying to find out. And everything else, even like all these people that I see on social media, oh, try and sell me on a Premier League team. Try and sell me on soccer. It's, well, Manchester City, they play in the Premier League, and it's all the teams in England, but then they play in Europe, and it's all the teams in Europe. And then there's a cup competition, then there's multiple cup competitions, and then there's a Club World Cup that's once every 4 years. And, it requires explanation, right? And that's what we try and do. That's what I do every day on the CBS Sports Golasso Network. Tom, that's what you do in The Athletic and for CBS as well. We try and sell you on this idea of how great are the stakes of PSG and Bayern. But I guess we're trying to crown Europe's club team is an easy explanation as well, but how you get there is not necessarily easy. The World Cup is just such an easy thing for people to get on board with, and this idea that ultimately when it's over and it ends, then the NFL season starts again, and NBA season starts again, and MLB season is going on again. It's part of a calendar, so you have to find these moments, these now increasingly fleeting moments that I think other sports are finding the right windows to highlight themselves. What are the days in the calendar that you can say, here's a big soccer game. Can you join us and watch this, please? And I think that is a very difficult thing to do in a crowded media landscape. The World Cup being here, it being accessible is the perfect way to connect with people in 2026. But I'm not certain that even the highest level of the club game, the European club game, is as easily accessible. There will be more people that will watch it. But this idea that the 44 million people that watch Mexico-England are going to watch Monterrey and Toluca the following week on Univision on, Sábado Futbolero, I just don't think is going to happen because it's much more difficult to explain and to access.
Well, Whitty said a lot of good things there. Tom, I'm curious your thoughts on that. And look, there's an investment that can be made by the league too. Hey, some of these stars that you're seeing, I'm not saying go out and sign Haaland. That's not possible. But is MLS going to ramp up its investment in talent acquisition? And to what Whitty said about making things big events, that means more Continental Classicos. What can the U.S. Soccer Federation do with some of the bigger brands on their side of the planet in terms of scheduling? I think it makes them more ambitious, no?
Would play Mexico 5 times a year?
Yeah.
4 times a year.
Now we're cooking with gas. Yes.
Witty's talking about selling PSG and Bayern and why that's difficult. Whitty, let me sell you St. Louis City versus Sporting Kansas City next week. That's the taller test for me as somebody. Barbecue. The barbecue. Come watch. You can't even name that many players from those teams. I don't mean to take a pot shot, but my disappointment with MLS is they didn't do nearly enough to meet this moment and take advantage of it. Just this World Cup being here, you still have to do something to get these fans. And Whitty, like you said, no, it's not going to be 44 million. The same way that we all loved watching the Olympic hockey teams. And like, as much as I enjoy watching hockey, there's just not enough time in the day. It's still fine that like you're not going to get all of these fans. But for MLS, a few things. They didn't accelerate the calendar flip. That is happening next summer instead of right now, the most obvious break in the calendar to do so. Because when it came time to put your nuts on the table and make a decision, the owner said, we want to do another study. We're not saying no, but we need to do another study. The World Cup was awarded in 2018. They've been doing studies. Like, it's inexcusable to me that that's happening in the summer of 2027 and not right now. Another thing is the roster rules. They've been loosened a little bit. There are more ambitious owners, and the constant fight behind the scenes is the legacy smaller money owners versus the bigger new money owners in MLS. And the smaller money legacy owners have more of a say, and that's why the roster rules haven't been expanded upon. Sporting directors, too, will say, why don't you just give us a cap of, let's call it 20 million, but you still give 2 DP spots. So you can still go sign Messi and Lewandowski and Griezmann. By the way, Lewandowski and Griezmann and Casemiro all just signed. They're joining MLS this summer. Like, that's awesome. But the Casemiro deal is a great microcosm of the frustration for MLS teams. He's signing a deal that is basically to get around the roster rules, 1.5 million one year, 1.5 million the next year, and then like 20 million as an option after that. Whereas if he was joining a Mexican team, it would just be, what's the average of that? 8 million a year? 8 million, 8 million, 8 million. And it's much easier to explain, and it's much easier for these teams to do. And that's the biggest disappointment for me. You know who's going to benefit the most from the World Cup being in America for American soccer fans? Liga MX and the Premier League. It's not going to be MLS, and that hurts me.
Wow, that's an excellent point there. Don't mean to sound surprised. We do have some big
Jesus, man.
we do have some big matches coming up. And let's close the book on the U.S. for now. That was really great stuff. There's a lot to be excited about, despite being deflated. Because, God, I can't even imagine what this nation would have been like if we had Spain and the U.S. Around the corner. Are you expecting chalk? I heard you lay out the semifinals. I'm like, that's pretty cocksure for Chris Whittingham, given that Switzerland's been confusing the hell out of me this tournament. I was convinced that they weren't that good. And now they're playing a style that seems to be tricky, and Argentina doesn't blow anybody out, and Norway just seem to have a pretty easy time with Brazil. Do you expect chalk here, Whitty?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that there have been a few upsets in the knockout round, but I definitely was browbeaten by Mexico losing to England, by the United States losing to Belgium, and even Colombia losing to Switzerland. It seemed like it was sort of a day of no fun in the World Cup, and was sort
we
of a
lost
round
some
of
good
no fun.
fans. We lost some good fans.
It's just every group of every fan base that is worth their. I mean, we replaced the Colombians with the Swiss. What are we doing here? How? Yes. We missed out on Argentina, Colombia for the Swiss.
A devastating loss on multiple fronts. And while I would tout the Norwegians, it doesn't seem like the ladies have made the trip.
You say a devastating loss on multiple fronts and behind perhaps as well.
And bottoms.
But just to answer your question, I do think that I think we're heading towards a pretty chalky place. I really do. I think Morocco, will actually give France a pretty decent run for their money, and I think Norway will challenge England. That game will be a game of survival because neither of those two nations are going to know what's going to hit them when it's 5 p.m. at Hard Rock Stadium and it's 88 degrees with 110% humidity and a heat index of 174. It is going to be miserable out there. So I think those two games will be a slog. But honestly, I expect Spain to take care of Belgium relatively comfortably. And even for as much as Argentina have struggled with their last two games against Egypt and Cabo Verde, there's just something, for whatever reason, I think this game is going to be easier for them. And I don't know why. I can't explain that to you, but I think Argentina will get across the line. But yeah, I think we're heading towards the heavyweights taking over the semifinal, which would be great games, which would be really fun to watch, but it's not quite the spirit of the group stage in the round of 32 with what Cabo Verde achieved, with what some of these underdog nations have been able to achieve at this World Cup. I think, unfortunately, this is the tournament of blue bloods. 8 teams have ever won it. And I think we're heading towards a semifinal that is going to be all the blue bloods in it.
Tom, are you as cocksure as Chris Whittingham is?
I'm 100% changing Whitty's contact in my phone to Chris Cocksure Whittingham, so I appreciate that more than anything else from this conversation. Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? Right? Even when what Paraguay upset Germany was a big one, but we knew that this wasn't a historic type or a standard bearing type of a German team. And that still took penalties. And the Cabo Verde was super fun. And then Argentina eventually go through. Same thing with Egypt against Argentina. Like you said, Whitty, browbeaten into some of these favorites, and particularly with how good the favorites have looked. England, I thought for sure when they went a man down at the Azteca that it was over and they stepped their game up. So it's boring, but it is tough to see one of the underdogs kind of going through here. But hey, that's the magic of this game and the magic of this sport that I hope to be wrong.
So which one of these underdogs does have the best chance to, break up the cocksuredness here? Could it be Morocco? I have a sneaking suspicion it could be Morocco.
I think they're the best of the underdogs.
Yes.
They have the worst opponent.
Correct.
They have the most difficult opponent to beat. I think it's Norway. I think
Agreed.
For what they showed against Brazil, because we talked about it, Mike, in the group chat, how many times in the previous Brazil rounds where, Japan can do them. Well, they got scared of the yellow shirt. Norway didn't get scared of the yellow shirt for 90 minutes. They played and played and played, and then Haaland got his 2 goals. They were better than them for the 90 minutes, not just the moments that they defined the game. And yes, they got a penalty save from the goalkeeper, and there were plenty of other chances that Brazil had. But in terms of their approach, they weren't scared. So I think they'll take the game at times to England. So I think because of the conditions are always the wild card when you're playing outdoors in Miami. I think as well, it could be a factor as well for this France-Morocco game today because it's at 4 p.m. in Boston. It's going to be 90 degrees up there today. So I think conditions can certainly play a role. But yeah, I actually think it's Norway who have the best chance. Morocco, the best team. Norway, I think, have the best chance on the basis of how good they are and how at times England have looked vulnerable as well in this tournament. I agree with that, Whitty. Norway was the one I was looking at, and I would have said the same caveat of I think Morocco are probably the best of the dogs, but they have France, and that's really, really tough with how this team has looked. And England, for as good as they are, it's not as if they're like France blowing teams out of the water, and they're going to be really, really difficult to beat. I want to be clear. But Norway are not easy to beat either, and they have a cyborg, a goal-scoring cyborg who does nothing but post good Instagram content and YouTube content and score goals. That's all he does. So if there's a team, you'd look at it like that, that's somebody it's a little difficult to beat, plus they could have the best player on the pitch.
I really enjoyed the time with you boys. Tom, brilliant work on the U.S. men's national team beat. Again, all the athletics coverage throughout the World Cup remains free, not behind a paywall. Whitty, I heard you're going to be joining Jonathan Zaslow on ESPN Radio later today. Am I breaking that to you?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Yes, 8:30 p.m. tonight I'll be on with Zaz.
Whitty's face has been everywhere lately. Cocksure Chris Whittingham.
A lot of requests.
And you're doing your part. You fellas have been doing your part in growing the game. And, yeah, I don't think they're going to be locked into Tudeene. But I do think there's some forward momentum here. And I do think that we can sell Mexico, USA multiple times and making it a continental classico and trying to be as aggressive as we can with schedule making and finding those gaps in the calendar. Because, yes, I think MLS has screwed the pooch in a lot of ways here. But one thing that I think is a clear draw is the red, white, and blue. And the more that we can build on that, it's simple, it's easy, it's digestible. We have new partners now for the World Cup qualifiers. Again, we didn't have qualifiers. We just had a bunch of friendlies. So with new broadcast partners to really pump up these qualifiers and let people know the World Cup is a 3-year process. Everything at Curacao matters. At Haiti matters. Well, I guess that's both at Curacao for the moment. But all of this stuff matters at Trinidad and at Tobago. All that stuff matters, and I think that we all have to do our part in when these qualifiers come around, when the Gold Cup comes around, and U.S. Soccer has to stop doing the thing where they don't select their best, because I think we're turning the page on a lot of these players. So the Gold Cup is something they should absolutely go for. There's all sorts of rumors about Copa America. I think the foundational building block going forward is this national team, and I know you guys will be carrying the banner. So thank you both for the tremendous work that you've been doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mike.
All right, we'll be back with you before the semifinals to preview the semifinals on Morally Abhorrent, and then we got a big-time final in one of the worst possible stadiums. We'll get excited for it, though. Thanks for tuning in. Till the next time.